Truth teller, did you vote for Trump?
Yep.
Do you regret your vote?
Definitely not.
I think you should.
And Todd Blanche is the law, so you should respect the law.
Todd Blanche is not the law. Todd Blanche is a
him.
violator of the law.
No, you need to respect him because he is the law.
What branch does Todd Blanche serve in?
The executive.
Okay. And what branch makes the laws?
Depends.
What do you mean it depends?
Like EOs are passed by the executive. Judiciary would actually pass a law. The Congress approves stuff, right? So it depends what you're talking about.
Executive orders are passed in the executive branch by the President of the United States. They would not be legislative. The legislative branch is the only one that can make laws, and every other department has to go by said laws. The judicial branch uses those laws to judge. The executive branch uses those laws to execute.
Correct.
So Todd Blanche is not the law. And he would be violating it specifically with the court order that he had to explain why the Epstein files were still redacted to hell, or release the ones that were not the victims' names.
Well, the problem with that is it's not doable at this time.
Based off of what?
Do you want millions of people to be unalived?
Excuse me?
I asked you, the recourse from doing that would mean that the entire system would shut down. There'd be no electricity. There'd be no nothing. The stock market would completely
What the hell? What? Whoa, wait. I'm sorry. Is the Epstein files an EMP? What are you talking about?
The people that are involved in the E group that Epstein bribed or blackmailed, whatever, they're all the people that run every single industry of this entire system.
Yeah, those people that run those industries, they would be heads over said industries or have companies that are in those industries. Removing that person would not stop the entire infrastructure of those departments from running. That is a ridiculous talking point. You're really trying to sit here and say that we should not give the Epstein victims justice because if we remove some of these heads, then it's going to shut down the United States? That is one of the wildest excuses I've ever heard.
The entire world.
Irrelevant. World, United States, all that stuff you said would be grossly incorrect. That's not how that works.
Not at all.
Not how that works.
Unfortunately,
These people just don't have one lever that shuts down electricity, shuts down Wi-Fi, or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm. That's what you don't know.
Trump supporters request up in the box you, the demographic of people I'd like to have a conversation with. If you're over on the tube side, we call the number on screen, 737-295-5321. I'm not wasting my time with that. That is the latest boogeyman, I guess. Now we have, if we prosecute the people who have implicated in the files, we're going to lose society. So now we're arguing comfortability. So because of your water, because of your electricity, all those, which is it's a lie. That's BS what he was saying. But now we're saying because of all those things, we have to let them get off. We have to let them get away. Now we're protecting predators because of 5G. Insane. Insane. I don't understand why you guys even try. Why even request up? Why even request up to say something like that? Why even request up to say something like that? Liberals love to cry. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're just making up for the 4 years you guys spent crying over Joe Biden. I mean, we've had a year and a half. Can you give us 2.5 more years to get it off? You had 4. Come on, man. Just be fair. Be fair. You guys had 4 years. You can't give us at least 2? Jeez. Republicans are so unfair. Republicans are so unfair. Democrats are against God. Democrats are the most Christian party in our two-party system today. Democrats are the biggest Christians. It's their faith why they advocate for things like expansion of healthcare, going alongside universal healthcare, to protection of immigrants and their rights and their families, against unlawful detainment, the supplementing of families who do not make enough money to take care of themselves efficiently. Those are all Christian principles. Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess as to what administration and what president is anti those things. I don't know. I guess I get confused when you guys bring religion into the mix, because then I'm like, there's no possible way you can genuinely think that Trump is a Christian man. What's the best you guys going to have? hatred against the LGBTQ community, and abortion. That's the best that you guys have to offer in your Christian arguments. It's really weird. It's really weird. This guy ought to be fun. Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up to 10K and beyond. Show the algorithm what to be here. Let's knock out these little roses, send your daily heartbeats, and get the show on the road. Truth teller, we already know you voted for Trump, and I'm going to take a wild guess and say that you do not regret your vote. Why is that?
Again, when it comes to the e-file sector, no one's saying don't prosecute.
It's the same guy? Is that the same guy? You know what? Fine. Come back up. Come back up and articulate your point. Come back up and articulate your point. If you're not saying don't prosecute them, then what are you saying? Come back up and you articulate your point. You're going to make it worse, but I'll allow you to finish your point if that's what you're not saying. I'll allow you to finish your point. He's from Canada? Of course he is. I got it.
Yes, sir. I'm not trying to make it worse. I'm literally just trying to say that, again, they are going to get prosecuted, right? But if it's all done all at once, it's like with the alien disclosure. If they boom it on at everyone at once, the whole system's going to shut down. This has to be done properly so that millions of people aren't affected by it.
Is with evidence. Properly is swiftly and justly. Properly isn't let's get one at a time over the course of this much time so that they can maintain the status quo. Again, they would not have switches that can turn off key parts of our infrastructure in the United States. That is a ridiculous talking point. Are you in a sci-fi movie or are we here in reality?
No, we're here in reality.
I don't care if we scoop up every single one tomorrow when the evidence presents itself.
Justice has been happening and just not publicly.
No, it literally has not been happening. Can you name one person who's been prosecuted in the United States in regards to the Epstein files?
Not prosecuted, unalived. I can name a bunch of people.
Unalived? What the fuck? What do you mean unalived?
Past like 50 years.
What do you mean unalived?
We can go through it if you want.
Who did the government kill in regards to the Epstein files?
We can go over Michael Aquino. We can go over George Bush Sr. We can go over
how did Michael Aquino die? How did Michael Aquino die?
We can go over Pindo.
How did this Michael Aquino guy die?
A long-term illness. That's what they stated, but that's not true at all. And again, Pindar Benjamin Rothschild, gone at the age of 52.
Trump supporters request up in the box to you the demographic of people I'd like to have a conversation with. If you're over on the tube side, and we call the number on screen 737-295-5321. So we, the United States, the Trump administration is not doing their job in prosecuting these people. Natural causes is getting them. Natural causes is more effective of taking out the 1% that the Trump administration would be protecting who have been implicated in trafficking children. We have to just trust natural causes, allegedly. We are off to a great start. Every single day, all I ask for is intelligence, and every single day, I am disappointed by the demographic who runs from it. Clearly, elites control nature. Of course, Martina. Weather machines, them Democrats. You remember when them Democrats sent that tornado, the hurricane to Helene? And then only gave people $500? You remember that? That damn Helene hurricane, man, that them Democrats created to keep Biden in power. I don't know what these folks believe anymore. Does he not understand we all meet the Reaper? Is that not crazy? What a crazy thing to say. Natural causes are getting them. Trump won't get them after the party ran off of getting people prosecuting the Epstein files. But that good old cancer, that'll get them. Good. Yeah, I'd much rather our, prosecution or justice system work. Mark, did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I voted for Trump, and I do not regret my vote whatsoever.
Why is that?
Because I don't regret it.
I'm asking why.
Well, because I think that what he was supposed to be promising on, he's following through.
I don't know what you're saying. Are you in the United States?
What he was supposed to promise on, he was following through with
Are
that.
you in the United States?
I'm in Washington State.
Okay. You said something about plumber through. I don't know what you said. Can you speak clearly, please?
Yeah, he's following through with what he actually was saying.
He's
with
following through
with
what he actually was saying. Did he follow through on lowering your energy prices in the first 6 months?
I'm not sure. I don't pay my energy price. I don't pay the bills in my house that I live in. I live for free.
Okay.
So I don't. I haven't ever paid bills before when it comes to that.
Do you own a vehicle?
Energy bill.
Do you own a vehicle?
Yeah, I own it with a car and I drive it.
Do you? Okay, so you do pay for your own gas?
Yeah, I pay for my gasoline.
Okay. Did he lower gas prices?
They're lowering right now. They're getting lower than what they were a month ago.
After he inflated them with a war in Iran.
But they're getting lower right now, right?
Not doing it, y'all. Not doing it with these trolls. Caleb, did you vote for Trump?
Yo, so I have a question, right? You know,
Did you vote
how
for Trump?
said something about a threesome
Did
with
you
his
vote for
sons?
Trump?
No, because I.
Trump supporters request up in the box. You're the demographic of people I'd like to have a conversation with. If you're over on the tube side, you can call the number on screen, 737-295-5321. If you did not vote for Donald Trump, you do not reside in the United States, you're not an American civilian. Respectfully, I don't care about what your political positions are. You can look, you can comment. You're not the demographic people I want to speak to. Okay. Just saying. I have a show to run. You guys are obstructing it. Please stop. Respect the boundaries of the live. Respect the boundaries of the live. Why must you be American? Because I'm here to speak to people who voted for Trump. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote in our federal elections. If you can't vote in our federal elections, you didn't vote for Trump. If you didn't vote for Trump, you're not the demographic of people that I'm trying to talk to. What are we doing? What are we doing? Only exceptions are for non-voters. Only exceptions are for non-voters. We will speak to non-voters because it is a midterm election year. And November is right around the corner, guys. Literally before we know it, November is going to be here. And those general elections are super duper important. So that's the only exceptions that I will make. The rest of you, I don't know. Keep tapping the screen. Keep tapping the screen. We're literally not even at 10K likes, but y'all trying to come up here. Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up to 50K and beyond. Show the algorithm when it be here. Please make sure you're also sharing out the live with your friends and families. Get those shares up to 100. 337 of you in here. Those of you on the YouTube side, hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe, turn on notifications as well. But illegals can vote. You are so stupid. Cool. Come up here and tell me how undocumented migrants can vote in our festivals. Come up here and tell us. Come up here and tell us how they en masse can vote in our elections. I can't wait to hear it. You guys have been saying this for years. Mind you, I want to go over something with you guys. Kash Patel, a few weeks ago, let me get the exact date for you. Kash Patel came out and he made a statement about some groundbreaking report, some groundbreaking piece of evidence that's supposed to reveal how the 2020 festival was stolen from Trump. Right? And he said it's coming real soon. He said it's coming by the end of the week. This was a few weeks ago. And it is now July the 1st. Excuse me, 3rd. It is now July the 3rd. Here we go. April. This is April. He came out and said this. He said he has proof. It was supposed to be released that Friday. It is now July. We still don't have this proof. I just find it interesting how many people make these claims. And then when you ask one question, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Everyone disappears. Everyone gets awfully quiet. It's really sad. It's really sad. Pay your debts unless you're Trump filing bankruptcy. Yeah, there's that. I am doubtful that Trump will allow the midterm elections to take place. He couldn't stop it. He's just trying to obstruct it. Specifically starting with mail-in ballots. Gween, did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
And do you regret your vote?
I do not.
I think you should regret your vote because Donald Trump ran off of protecting women and everything, and he's done so far has not been protecting them at all.
What do you mean?
Simple. He's not a good example of protecting women by how he's handling the Epstein files specifically, including his appointees such as Pam Bondi, who's up out the paint, and now Todd Blanche, who's currently can be held in obstruction for the court order that he was given yesterday to release the files or explain why they're still redacted to hell. We can look at the fact that he walked back his campaign promise on the government paying for IVF to help women have more babies, and then he completely dropped it in April of last year. We can also talk about the fact that you would be affecting mothers, specifically any one of them that would be benefiting from SNAP programs when he slashed them by about 50%. And that predominantly benefits children. So it's fucking with girls as well. All of those reasons and more is why he's not pro-women.
Well, can you go more into depth on the whole SNAP benefits? What are you talking about?
Donald Trump's slashing of SNAP benefits on the federal level, specifically impacting states by as much as 50% of people that lost their benefits. Not off of fraud, because there is no audit actually done to show that these individuals were getting improper payments or anything of the sort. Improper payments is actually administrative errors and only reflects what? 1 to 3% of any fraud in the department?
Well, I mean, there's
Can you
there's a
stop
bunch
chewing
of
in
people
my
that are
ear?
using. Well, I'm eating. I don't know what to tell you.
And maybe
just
try
ate
not
food.
to chew in the microphone. Maybe not.
My phone's like 10 feet away from me. What
Maybe
do you want me
not
to do about that?
smack your mouth while you're having a
I
conversation.
mean, I'm not.
Do you go on dates? Do you go on dates?
Oh, I thought. Do I go on dates?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. So are you typically on dates? So you cute. Let's be friends. No, I'm pretty sure you don't do that. So have the same respect that you allegedly have on dates on the platform, please. Simple request. Simple request. He ran. He probably runs from those dates too.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So as I was saying, no evidence whatsoever to support the claim that the 2020 festival was stolen, but they've been touting around for now almost 6 years. And I want to remind everyone that if we have individuals who are sore losers in the federal government, sore freaking losers, if they can't tell that little truth, imagine what else they're lying about. Imagine what else they're hiding or covering for, which actually translates pretty well into the literal swamp in DC. Now we're prosecuting people, regular, degular Americans whose only crime is putting their hand in the reflecting pool. Now we're prosecuting them to cover up the fact that we did a botched almost $17 million job with fixing the reflecting pool. It's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I want you guys to think about that for a second. There are people who did, not jail time, but there are people who spent a night in jail, not prison. People who spend a night in jail because Donald Trump refuses to admit that he is the one who screwed up the reflecting pool. We're now leading in false investigations, BS investigations into regular, degular Americans whose only crime was visiting DC for the weekend to look at the new pool. Isn't that insane? Great point, Ratatat. Touch water, get arrested. Touch children, get a promotion. Not even promotion. It's not even so much about a promotion. The protection of the United States. Touch children, the United States government will back you tooth and nail. You guys remember what he said to Marjorie Taylor Greene when she was trying to get the files released with her crazy ass? You remember what he said to her? There's a lot of good people in there. There's a lot of good people in there. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to get hurt. I want pigs to get hurt. I want pedophiles to get hurt. With the law. With the law. Any other any other methods of pain? I will not share those positions on a TikTok live. On the TikTok live for now, with the law. With the law. Throw the book at him. Or do a backflip off a balcony. I don't know. One of those things. Do one of those things. Oh, B. Yeah. Wait, what? It's nice to see two young boys and their mother playing in the water and the soldiers turn their backs. I bet they wash their hands. What, are National Guards not bothering people as much? It's not even the National Guard. The one video that I watched of this dude who literally put his hand in the water, it was like the Capitol Police. It was the Capitol Police who just ran up and picked him up and took him away. I don't think it's the National Guard messing with them. National Guard, some of them probably know it's BS. I personally haven't seen any video of the National Guard messing with people. Maybe, if anything, giving a warning. Like, hey, try not to mess with the pool right now. Trump's in his feelings. Maybe one of that. I wish we could deport Hector. Aww. Aww. Imagine that. Imagine that. There's a quote I want to go over with you guys. In regards to support of the president. Teddy Roosevelt, for all his flaws, homeboy had some very, very important things to say. Some really great values in certain areas, and I want to go over one of them. So this was in 1918. I forgot the event that he spoke at, but it was Lincoln and free speech. And there's a quote in here who's very important. We'll get back to it once I deal with this guest. Guys, best way to support the platform is also going to be by the links in the bio. Please make sure you're following me and everything. Consider joining the Discord community for movie night tonight. We are doing that at 7 p.m. CST, and links in the bio, of course, best ways to donate and support. I don't even know how to say your name, bro. Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I did.
And do you regret your vote?
I'm very happy with it.
Okay. What are you happy about?
Prioritizing citizenship, prioritizing Christianity, prioritizing anti-Semitism.
Cool. Prioritizing citizenship. What do you mean when you say prioritizing citizenship?
Just citizens in general. Trying to enforce
first.
immigration.
Right.
Just making this country a better place and a better economy to live in.
Yeah, so the America First agenda.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, what has Donald Trump done to make the United States
and not
a
only
better
that,
place?
he made the world. He made the world a better place. He made sure our allies stood with us.
No, he didn't.
And
he's literally
he's
alienated
making this.
a lot of our allies. He's threatened our position with NATO to the point where now Russia is testing, sending rockets to Poland to push his resolve. We can talk about the 40 billion, 20 billion in direct payment that he was setting to go to Argentina. Meanwhile, he slashed billions here in the United States in key programs. We can talk about the estimated 5 to 8 million people who now have lost healthcare coverage or reduced their healthcare coverage due to his cuts to the ACA. How is any of that prioritizing Americans? And don't get me started on what he's doing to the veterans.
From what I've been seeing, that he made sure that our allies stood with us when we helped Israel.
What allies?
And
Israel,
he's
the Israel ally. We sucked off Israel, and they stuck with us.
Hey, Israel is God's people. If you're not a Christian, that's really, I really can't say much for you.
Yeah, I don't really care about your Christian arguments.
Are you a Christian?
No, the United States is not a Christian nation. Nor should it have prioritization.
Okay, so are your ancestors monkeys?
Excuse me?
Do you believe in evolution?
I don't really care where we came from. I think we are an animal, yeah.
Okay. So I don't believe that. I believe that we're God's people made in the image of God. And God created this earth for us to benefit.
Good for you. Here in the United States, we do not prioritize any faith over the other. And if you have a preference for your faith and you want that weaponized in the government, congratulations. Not only are you a Christian nationalist, but you do not respect the Constitution, which has a clear separation of church and state clause.
Yes, but our country was founded by Christians.
It doesn't matter what it's founded by or who you think was Christians and whatever your definition of Christianity is.
Our biggest ally are the Jews, God's people.
Sure, I don't care about any of that. Your biggest allies is robbing money from us to go blow up people overseas.
No, we're making sure that our enemies,
over 60,000 Palestinians, most of them being women and children, innocent women and children, are dead because of your God's chosen people blowing them to hell. Also,
Why-
to those
well, why did
refugees in
God
the
give us-
region, the ones who are definitely innocent, he was actually stopping aid from going to the nation. And then
Yeah,
we're giving them
but-
more and more and more and more and more money for offensive capabilities versus
But God gave us
defensive.
this power.
God
for a
gave
reason.
you the power to blow up innocent people.
Hey, obviously, I'm not here to judge them. God is.
Okay.
So He gave us the power.
Wait. No judging. No judging, right? None whatsoever.
If God deems the Muslims the evil people, I can't help that.
Okay, so when God deemed Joe Biden the 46th president of the United States, did you have an issue with that?
Can you repeat that question? I didn't
When
hear you
God
clearly.
deemed Joe Biden the 46th president of the United States, did you have an issue with that?
Hey, everything happens for a reason, sir. Maybe God made.
Did you have an
God
issue
made
with
that
that? It's a
moment
yes
for
or
a
no
reason.
question. It's a yes or no question.
Yes,
Yes, he did.
I did. I didn't like it. I thought I didn't.
Okay, so
I'm
when
not-
God
I'm not-
expanded protections for LGBTQ people, specifically the trans community, that was all in his plan, right?
hey, that's why we're taking them back. We're not allowing those people to
Well, what do you mean?
benefit
No,
from
what
us.
do you mean we're taking them back? No. God ordained it.
Yes, but now we're making sure the trans people are paying for their evil.
Okay, so God ordained it, and then he took it back.
Yes,
Okay.
because obviously He doesn't want them to.
Here's what's going to happen from this conversation or this point going forward. I don't give a fuck about your faith. I don't give a fuck about your wannabe religion and your just gross misrepresentation of not only how we should have our relationship with Israel, but what you think God is. I'm not even religious, and I find your shit to be disrespectful. You're going to stop. Religion is no longer a part of this conversation. I want you to address how Donald Trump is putting Americans first by slashing American benefits and then putting billions and billions of dollars to go blow up people overseas and give aid to places like Argentina. I want you to tell me how that's America first.
Oh, sorry. May I speak, or are you going to mute me?
I want you to answer the question I just asked you.
You asked a bunch of questions. Can
And
you
that
ask
is the
just
new
one?
question. You just heard what it was. Or you were not
What was
paying
the
attention.
what was the specific question?
What did I just say?
You said you spoke so fast I couldn't hear you clearly.
I did not speak that fast. I will speak slower for you. No problem. I'll
All right.
keep it nice and short and sweet so you'll be able to comprehend it. How is Donald Trump putting Americans first by slashing American benefits, worsening the American economy, and giving American money to foreign allies or adversaries even, or I don't want to say adversaries, to alleged allies to blow up children and offensive weaponry?
You're gonna have to clarify that question because you're
I
being
can't
very
possibly
unspecific.
make it clearer than that.
Well, then I'm gonna have to give you my opinion. And if you don't want, if you don't believe in God, then I'm just gonna try to talk to you in a different perspective, as just
Donald
an
Trump
American.
cutting Medicaid by roughly $1 billion and get rid of the subsidies that has contributed to the roughly 5 to 8 million people who either completely lost or had to reduce their health care coverage. How is that putting them first?
Well, in my opinion, that there's a lot of countries that don't pay for medical use or whatever health.
Why shouldn't the richest
that's just
country in
a-
the world contribute to their citizens' health care? Why shouldn't the richest country in
Well,
the world
because healthcare-
put their citizens' health first?
Because healthcare is not it's not a luxury. Healthcare is
What do you mean
is a
healthcare
right.
is not a luxury?
Like, we shouldn't have to even pay for healthcare, honestly. In my opinion, that's my opinion. I think that that we could learn a lot from our allies like the UK, where healthcare is just a given right, and it's a free benefit just for being a citizen. And you're welcome to your own opinion. So you can.
If
can
you
make healthcare a
believe
luxury.
that healthcare because it is a luxury in the United States. I want to make that clear. If you believe it to be a right, a human right, then why did you vote for Trump, who disagrees with you? Who believes that the ACA and any advancements that we make going forward towards universal health care is a bad idea. He ran off of concepts of a plan, and he's only been gutting the ACA just to make more people go to private institutions, and it's not helping them. The cuts to the ACAs increase the cost, even in the private sector. So what do you mean healthcare is a right? You didn't vote for the guy who believes that.
Well, he's exploiting our weakness, and our weakness is our healthcare system.
What do you mean?
He's gonna make sure that that everyone understands. Healthcare is very expensive, and it's a luxury in this country. You know what I'm saying?
The point of the ACA was
so
to reduce
expensive.
the costs, and with the increased costs over the last few years, the new position from many people in the Democratic Party, Democratic Socialists especially, is universal health care, which would make it cheaper, and it would cover everyone. It would make United States citizens have a right to health care versus a luxury.
It doesn't seem like that, sir.
What do you mean it doesn't seem like that?
It seems
No,
like-
it wouldn't
yeah,
seem like
like-
that under the
like-
Trump
like we wanna
administration,
give
because the
basic-
Trump administration disagrees with that position.
Well, it seems like that the Democrats feel like to give basic human rights to, the poorest of the country, because obviously we don't want people going out and
Universal health care doesn't
committing-
only benefit the poor. Universal is universal. It's everybody.
Okay.
With, I guess, a private option for some people who choose to keep it. That is more so something that AOC and the like has advocated for as well.
Yes, but it seems like the Democrats, it seems like they want to cling to power by exploiting the poor. They want to make sure that the poor have, the most basic amenities and the most basic.
The people who most need it are the folks that are often
their
prioritized
votes.
by the Democratic Party. Wow, what a Christian thing to do.
But it's not because they care about them. They
Quite literally is
so
because they
desperate,
care about them.
and they're looking for any.
It's because they've cared about them for
They're
some
so desperate
time.
that they're looking for any way. And isn't it interesting?
I'm sorry. Hey. I don't care what
voted
your belief is for why Democrats do things. It would literally be serving those people, the poor and downtrodden, that Jesus, that your God, says we are supposed to look after. The least of these, right? You know that verse, Matthew 25.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But
So then while you're sitting here
Jesus
voting
said to
for the
love our
guy
enemies
who's
as well.
against universal health care, while you're sitting here advocating for the country that has universal health care, you're now denying it for American citizens in the United States after claiming that you liked that Trump was America first. You contradicted yourself. You've been contradicting yourself the entire time you've been
We
up
don't
here.
we don't have universal health care.
That's the goddamn point.
So
We're
I don't know
trying to
what
get
you're
it.
saying.
We're trying to get it. The ACA was only a stepping. What's the word I'm looking for? A stepping stool. A stepping stool to get.
Right.
You know what the hell I'm trying to say? To try to get to universal health care. And the ACA that we even got was watered down by Republicans, because that's the only way we can even get one vote from what's his name, John McCain, to get it passed. The ACA was never the final destination of healthcare in the United States from the Democratic perspective. Stepping stone. Thank you.
But what I'm trying to explain to you, sir, is that these benefits are only going to benefit the poorest of the nation. They're not going to benefit anyone else but. So we're trying to create a system
the
where
ACA did
universal
not
healthcare
only
means universal
benefit
for-
the poorest of the poor. Universal health care would benefit everyone.
despite their income or their status. We're not going to start
Yeah,
judging people based on.
that's the point. That's why it's a good thing.
Right. So do you
Trump
want to move on, or do you want to
disagrees with you. You claim that you believe healthcare should be a human right, that it should be free, The Trump administration ran off of concepts of a plan, none of those concepts being making it universal. They have gutted healthcare even further from what the government was paying for, which only jacked up the prices, including in the private sector. That didn't help anyone. That wasn't putting Americans first.
That's because we have so many immigrants that right now are exploiting our system, and we're not prioritizing our citizens.
Undocumented migrants do not get health care in the United States. They do not qualify for Medicaid or Medicare.
And I'm not saying that, they don't deserve health care either. It's just
I don't care what you think they deserve. I'm telling you what they don't get.
Well, like let's take Minneapolis, for example, okay? Those child care workers, okay? A lot of those people weren't citizens.
Yo, why have we been live for almost 40 minutes and we're barely above 30,000 likes? What are we doing? Hey. Tap the screen or you're a bigot. Tap the screen or you're a bigot. Get the likes up. What are we doing? Go ahead.
Yeah, the immigrants are taking all these benefits away from the citizens. So it's
Undocumented
making
migrants
the
do not
system,
qualify for any of the benefits that you're referencing.
but they were taking them by fraud, so that the system
Fraud is
couldn't
fraud.
understand
That's not
what they
taking
were
anything
doing.
away, and there's no mass amount of frauds by undocumented migrants in any of those sectors that you're talking about.
I'm speaking specifically about Minneapolis.
I'm speaking
the healthcare-
specifically about
the daycare.
I'm speaking
the daycare
specifically about
workers.
in general, everywhere.
Right. Okay.
Fraud
so,
is fraud. Fraud can be prosecuted and restitution can be paid. Undocumented migrants are the minority of the sheer amount of Americans in that sector that are defrauding Americans.
Right. Okay. Well,
And if you're so worried about
they're making
undocumented
it-
migrants that may be committing fraud, then you should probably be mad at the Trump administration for locking up people who are not. Only 5% of undocumented migrants in detention centers, as it sits as of May, were actually convicted or had any criminal record. 95% of the people that he's scooping up are not the undocumented migrants that are defrauding Americans as you claim. So the Trump
Right.
administration
We
and his mass
inherited
deportation
this-
agenda would be encouraging the very same thing that you say you're against.
But we inherited this system from the previous administration, sir. Okay, what I'm
What
trying to
system?
explain is this mass
Thank you guys for knocking out the roses.
immigration that came into our country
There's
without
no mass immigration
you know-
agenda under the Biden administration.
Well, they were free to just do whatever they wanted.
No,
honestly,
they were not. The laws didn't change under Biden. They've been the exact same. Joe Biden
and it
never
would have
encouraged
gotten,
illegal
if
immigration into
Kamala
the United
was
States.
if Kamala was voted in,
What about
she would've made
Kamala?
she would have made things 10 times even worse.
Took no time. W's in the chat too. Thank you guys for the follows. W's in the chat to Asanta for the $1 Cash App. Have you seen the
Like,
takeover of the
Imagine the
takeover
problems
of
we
the
would
white
have
and
had.
proud?
Imagine the problems we would have had
I don't
had she
know.
been in office right
I don't
now.
know what you're talking about, Asanta. The takeover of the white and proud. Is that a movie? Is that a series? I'll look into it. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. Guys, best way to support the platform is going to be the links in the bio. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Hector talks with 2 R's on Cash App and Venmo. PayPal, Hector Pal with 2 O's and 2 R's. If you're over on the Tube side, you may send a super chat and a super sticker. Kamala Harris had a comprehensive immigration agenda, specifically in the form of S4361, which would have addressed not only Republican concerns, but the humanitarian concerns here in the United States. Donald Trump's plan was non-existent. He just wanted to deport. It was never the worst of the worst. It was never getting back money from undocumented migrants because they were never able to qualify for the programs that you're talking about. It was just cruelty. Even going as far as to restricting legal immigration here in the United States.
But her agenda was to just
You don't
blame
know
all
what
the
her
rich
agenda
people.
is.
God bless you.
She just wanted to
I'm
say
sorry.
that these
Every
problems were caused
undocumented
by rich
migrant,
people.
every single undocumented migrant who comes here to the United States is employed by someone. And there are rich corporations that would be encouraging that labor. So there is that. Also, the issue of the classless war and the rich in 1% taking away from those of us at the bottom is separate from, well, not completely separate, but somewhat separate from immigration. You're mixing up two different things.
Well, what's wrong with it with a corporation being rich? That's what its purpose is.
They're getting
That's
rich
what
off of our
capitalism
backs.
is.
They're getting rich
That's
with
what-
our tax dollars. They're getting rich with our tax dollars going into subsidies for them, as programs for us are being gutted. As we're being called fraudsters and lazy, they're getting kickback after kickback after
But
kickback
that's not
after
that's
kickback.
not the corporation's problem. They're
No,
exploiting
it's
the
not the
system
corporation's
just as-
problem.
just as
No
the
shit,
immigrants
Sherlock.
are exploiting the
Congratulations.
system.
You're correct. It's not the corporation's
why,
problem.
instead of
It is
blaming
not
them-
the corporation's problem. It is the responsibility of the government to stop these loopholes. It's the responsibility of the government to adequately appropriate our taxes for the benefit of the average American. So the government, our elected officials that will implement laws to curb these corporations from doing everything that they're doing, is not happening under the Trump administration. Trump has enriched the corporations. He's enriched himself by $3 billion just from him and his family, by $3 billion just from last year alone, which is a violation of 18 USC 208.
So are you a communist? Do you believe in communism?
No, I don't believe in communism.
I'm not clear.
I would identify as a social
That's
democrat.
what it feels like.
No.
It feels like that you're trying
I'm
to
sorry,
exploit-
criticizing the corporations and what they do to enrich themselves over Americans is communism? Is that what you're saying?
That's what a corporation is, sir. A corporation is here to make as much
Caller on the line,
benefits
hold for a moment.
and capital as possible.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. No shit. But when they're doing it off the backs
to
of
ma-
us,
and
when they're
to-
doing
to-
it without the proper regulations and restrictions and loopholes and kickbacks that better their lives and worsen ours, that's the problem. That's the issue.
So the Democrats were making a worse system for the corporations.
Yeah, good.
And it was turning this country into a communist country.
It was not. You don't know what communism is. What is
I
communism?
I can understand what communism is.
What is communism?
It's where the entire country is run by the government and everyone's free will is taken away.
No. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society. You guys often point to Cuba, which is funny. It's a Nick Shirley video. This is actually one of the truest things ever put forward in a Nick Shirley video. It was a Nick Shirley video where he went to Cuba and he asked a bunch of them how they felt about communism. And it was actual Cubans telling you that what's happening in Cuba is not communism. Not true communism, at least. It's a stateless, classless, moneyless society. We have never seen communism or true communism in the world. W's in the chat to Shanta for the $9 Cash App. White racist Facebook group that black people took over. Oh, I don't know nothing about that. If there's like a video on that or something, I'll look into it. I didn't know anything about that. W to the black people. W's in the chat to you. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Guys, best way to support the platform is going to be links in the bio. Those of you on the YouTube side, please hit the like button on the stream, subscribe, and turn on notification bells. And if you want to support the stream, super chat, super sticker, or consider becoming a member. Friendly reminder that at 7 p.m. CST, we'll be going into the Discord to go watch our movie. We're going to be watching The Menu. So if you're not in the Discord, hit up the link in the description of the live stream or the link in my bio and click on the Discord icon, open up in your browser if you're giving issues, and you can join and watch it with us that way. Back to you, my guy. You don't know what communism is.
Yeah.
Democrats do not support communism.
sir,
in fact, they've done everything in their power to condemn
can
it.
I ask you, what's wrong
Even
with
going
being,
as far as
what's
to
wrong with
shutting
being a
down
billionaire?
democratic socialists. They're literally shutting down democratic socialists, which are not communists, because any example of socialism.
I have an even better question. What's wrong with being a trillionaire?
What's wrong with being a trillionaire? It's unethical.
Oh, it's
You
unethical
do not
to be a trillionaire.
you do not make that amount of money without exploiting people. Being a billionaire and infinitely more, a trillionaire, is inherently exploitative.
Well, what if you're a genius and you create products that benefit humanity to the point where they're willing to just give you as much money as they can?
You can do that without exploiting people. You can do that while paying people a livable wage. Not so much a trillionaire, which is the point, but you can make uber amounts of money without exploiting people.
So do they deserve to be typecasted or judged just for making products that make them extreme amounts of money? Is that ethical?
No, they deserve to be judged based off of their exploitative policies, based off of not paying people a livable wage, based off of all the settlements and lawsuits and hush-hush they keep doing in their corporations to protect themselves from the crimes that they're committing. Or in some cases, not even crimes. They're things that they're legally allowed to do because our government sucks off these people.
So there's only one trillionaire.
My guy,
on
I'm
Earth.
not here to really sit here and talk about
really
my personal
there's only
position on
one
millionaires,
trillionaire.
billionaires, and trillionaires. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm more so worried about the government that's enabling them, which is why I'm advocating for candidates and policies that stop said abuse. You, on the other hand, would think very differently because you support Trump.
You're not trying to incentivize a better way for humanity or products.
I quite
that
literally
will
am trying to
potentially help
incentivize a
us.
better way for humanity. When I voted for Madam Vice President Kamala Harris and she put forward a $50,000 tax credit for first-time business owners specifically, I think that was me looking over the benefit of America.
We should put trillionaires in jail just for creating products.
Who the fuck said anything about arresting trillionaires? What are you talking about?
Well, that's what you were saying just now.
Nothing about what I said was implied that I want to arrest trillionaires. I don't want to arrest people for making money. You are literally,
but you said they're exploiting people.
Fuck out of my argument.
That's what your claim was.
Yeah, legally, they absolutely are. Because of the federal minimum wage that refuses to be increased predominantly by Republicans. Because of the fact that they are able to pay people based off their market prices, and that's not outpacing the things like inflation.
Is that a private
because they're only
concern?
required to give someone the bare minimum amount of health care coverage, because the majority of our health care is tied to a business, which is another reason why I have an issue with this entire process, because unless you work for the business, unless you work for the system, you're just not entitled to health care. I think that's ridiculous, especially for self-employed people who have to pay more. That is my issue. I'm not saying arrest these people for that unless they're committing a legitimate crime. My guy.
That's not his. That's not a trillionaire's problem.
Have I been sitting here arguing that it affects private citizens? It affects Americans. Their policies affect Americans in a negative way. How do you think we paid for the biggest tax cuts in history to the 1%? How do we pay for that?
Probably by creating benefits that would, potentially not harm them.
We paid for their tax cuts and breaks by creating benefits.
Being judged by society just for creating products that gave them wealth. Their ideas and their products are what made them money, or what made their wealth.
I don't know if you just didn't hear me or if you just didn't comprehend. I'll ask it again just in case. How do you think we paid for their tax cuts and subsidies and breaks?
Probably by voting in people that really don't care about America. That their prime concern is for power and for exploiting citizens.
That's who you voted for. That's who you voted for. You voted for Trump. You voted for the man who does not care about the average citizen. You voted for the man who is more than likely and has cut those programs, cut those benefits for Americans, and ultimately passes policies to serve himself and his friends. You literally voted for that person who encourages the exploitation. For the second time now, bro. Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and the Big Beautiful Bill, which is basically the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act 2.0.
I already said that that he prioritized citizenship. As long as
my guy. Start responding to what I'm saying. I don't know if you're not tracking. Thank you, Sharon, for the corgis. Start responding to the things I'm actually saying. If you're saying we're giving these corporations and everyone else all these tax breaks and stuff when they're exploiting people, and we're doing it by electing people, elected officials who do not care about Americans, then look no further than Donald Trump and the Republican Party specifically, who support his policies that are doing everything that I mentioned. The one that you unapologetically stood on because of his love for Israel and putting Americans first.
Well, I have to tell you, a corporation is not the same thing as an individual or a citizen.
Actually, it is because of Citizens United. It literally is because of Citizens United. Same rights. Same rights. We now look at corporations as people. Citizens United, dude. The last person who ran off of ending Citizens United? Want to know what her name was?
It seems like you're trying to punish people for being intelligent. It's like I'm unclear about
every
what your
single
intention
time
is.
you open your mouth, you respond with shit I never said. This is really bad for you, bro.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with wealth
really bad
or being wealthy. It's not an evil. You did something right. Or your ancestors did something right and gave it to you for just because you're allowed to pass on your wealth.
Where do you work?
In some countries, you're not even allowed to do that.
Where do you work? Don't tell me exactly where you work. What industry do you work in?
I don't work.
What do you do?
I don't do anything. I just relax.
I'm sorry, are you a millionaire?
My family's very wealthy.
Oh, wowzers. This is starting to make a whole lot of sense. This is starting to make a lot more sense. I got it now. Dude, why didn't you say that at the beginning? I apologize. You're right. I've been talking to you all wrong. All you had to do was say, I'm going to come up on this panel. I'm going to suck off the wealthy, because if it wasn't for this capitalist system that is inherently exploitative, I wouldn't be able to sit up here on this panel and have all the things that I need because of my rich family. I feel like I can excuse that, right? I'm like, okay, you're benefiting from it personally. You're a selfish bastard. Therefore, this is why you don't oppose these systems. This is why you don't oppose the Republican Party. I wish you opened up with that, bro. I wish you opened up with the fact that you're Boo, silver spoon. Why did you open up with that?
Because that's not evil. I already told you I'm a Christian.
Yeah. You really got to stop saying that, because you're one of the most evil Christians I've ever had a conversation with. W's in the chat to Joe for the $10 super chat. Kamala offered first-time business owners credits. She literally times it by 10. It was 5,000. Her plan was 50,000. First-time home buyer credits, down payment assistance, loan assistance, child tax credit expansion, $6,000 for a baby, a newborn, 1 year or less, and then $3,600 afterwards, more than Donald Trump's. I'm adding on to a super chat. Cracking down on price gouging with the FTC, which now the Justice Department is admitting to after denying her on the campaign trail, and was more free speech than Orange Man. Shut the fuck up. 6,000%. 6,000%, Joel. W's in the chat to you. W's in the chat to, I think it's Joel again for the $5 super chat. MAGA has no idea how well the economy would have been under Kamala. More homeowners and small businesses, more investment and spending. Undeniable. Specifically, who the economy would have been great for or better serving for. They still would have made money, because more money in our pockets is more money for them and their goods that they sell to us. But the problem is we want to cut that. Or specifically Republicans. W's in the chat to Indigo for the $10 cash app. Keep cooking. Thank you so much, Indigo. W's in the chat to I always forget how to say your name. I'm just going to say Cox for the $5 PayPal. God damn it. Hold on.
Call from
Jack, hold for a moment. W's in chat to Cox for the $5 PayPal. This guy is hardcore on his knees for the rich class that wouldn't shit in his mouth if he was starving to death. Pitiful. Well, his family shits in his. His family got him good. His family is taking good care of him.
God bless you.
So your family that's taking care of you. I don't want to know what the business is. I don't want to know what they do for other people. I actually don't care. I don't care about none of that. Would you think that your family is a reflection of the average 1%er?
Yes, I would say it is. Yes.
Really? Your family would be a reflection of the average 1%.
Can I ask you another question? Can I ask you another question?
Yikes. Sure.
What happened when Barack got elected?
A lot of different things. What do you mean specifically?
The housing market completely tanked, and America became...
You've got to be fucking joking.
You don't remember that?
Are you fucking joking? Do you
I'm
think Obama tanked the housing crisis? Bro, Obama inherited the housing crisis under Bush, Bush, Clinton and Bush. What are you talking about? Obama became president in 2009.
Yeah, that's what
the housing crisis was well underway before then. It was Bush.
I believe it happened under his administration, sir.
Did you graduate high school? And I'm not asking that to be offensive, because I'm a homeschool dropout. But you did graduate high school?
Yeah, I went to.
What is your understanding of American politics and history?
My understanding is that we're the greatest country on earth, and we have
Fucking
the best.
God!
We're the land of the free, and we're the home of the brave. That's what I understand.
Your
We're
privilege.
the greatest country on earth.
Your privilege
That's
is
why the
reeking right now.
dollar.
Your privilege is reeking right now, my guy.
That's why the dollar
This
is the
is
standard.
insane. Imagine
That's why the dollar is the world's currency. The world currency.
Imagine being able to be this dense, proudly, unapologetically. You don't have to worry about getting a job. You don't have to worry about being intelligent. Nothing. You just have a nice cushion that allows you to continue to be as this. Wow, this is insane. The housing crisis was well underway, in part because of policies of Bill Clinton, then ramped up under the Bush administration. Obama inherited it, and he fixed it. He was able to get it down. We recovered from said crisis due to Obama's policies in Congress, of course. W. Obama.
That's not my understanding of the housing
Your
crisis,
understanding of everything is lacking, so your understanding is irrelevant to this conversation at this point. You don't know things. What are the three branches of government?
Well, I can't remember their specific labels. Oh, hell no! There's the executive, there's the judicial, and there's the other one.
What's the other one? You got two. I'm surprised at this point. What's the other one?
It's the Senate and the Congress.
Guys, stop putting the answers in the chat. No, that is the legislative.
Yeah, the legislative.
Congress would be in the legislative. Which branch of the government is the president in?
Executive.
Okay. Which branch is Jasmine Crockett in?
I'm not familiar with that name.
Which branch is Tim Scott in?
Tim Scott? Well, he's from my... he's from South Carolina. I believe he's the... What was it? The Congress? He's a congressman?
Are you from South Carolina?
I'm not. I live in Florida.
Okay.
But we have someone like him.
Guys, I don't know. I don't think... I feel like carrying on this conversation would be abusive at this point. I feel like carrying on this conversation would just be punching down at this point. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to punch down. But I don't think you know a lot of things about how our government works. I don't think you know a lot about the Trump administration. Which is why you keep pivoting to rich people are cool. They're actually not that bad. And you don't understand how billionaires and trillionaires, especially a trillionaire, are inherently exploitative. I legitimately don't.
We can be specific about a trillionaire because there's only one, right?
Yeah, Elon Musk is a piece of shit. An absolute dog shit human being. A degenerate.
But he created Skylink, he created Tesla, he created
Elon
SpaceX.
Musk put his name on things. He didn't create things, his workers did. He had the idea. He had the idea and the capital. He had the ideas and the capital to pay people to actually act upon his ideas. And a lot of them were not even his ideas. He paid people for their ideas and then put his name on it. You think he created Tesla or did he buy it?
He created it. He made the
How old are you?
The corporation Tesla.
How old are you?
I'm 45.
No, you're fucking joking.
I'm not joking.
Can you adopt me? I'm being dead serious. Can you adopt me? Listen, bro, I spend a lot of time reading. I do a lot of research. I'm looking to go into college for political science. I don't want to deal with this burden anymore. I don't want to deal with the burden of having to like educate people the way that I do. Can you just adopt me, bro? How does your family feel about black guys?
I don't believe that adult adoption.
How does your family feel about black guys?
I can't help how my family feels about black people. That's not my issue. But I don't believe that adult adult adoption
I didn't ask.
is not legal.
I didn't ask. Oh my God. All I asked is how do they feel about black guys? What do you mean you can't help how they feel about black guys? Does your family have a negative? Just do that. Oh, shit.
That's their own opinion. That's their own opinion.
Oh, shit. Okay. How do you feel about black guys?
Personally, I'm not a big fan of black people, but that's my own experience.
We're done. Oopsies! I stepped into some racism. Oopsies! I accidentally stepped into some racism. Holy shit! Holy shit! Wow! Oh, wow! I am in disbelief. Wow! Fleetwood, did you vote for Trump? Fleetwood, did you vote for Trump? All right, Fleetwood, I think he accidentally requested. W's in the chat to, let's see, make sure I'm getting this right. Priscilla for the $1 Cash App. He's lying and trolling. He will be all over TikTok lying. I don't know him. I don't know who he is. Maybe you've seen him before. W's in the chat to you. W's in the chat to Dean for the $2 Venmo. Musk bought into Tesla and then claims he invented it. He bought into SpaceX after someone else started the company. Literally, he didn't create much. So he just didn't know what he was talking about. W's in the chat to Joe for the $5 super chat. Don't be too upset at him. He can't criticize where his paycheck comes from, his parents, even if they're racist. Well, he confirmed that he is. So there's that. He said he can't speak for his parents and then followed up with, well, I don't care for black people either. Wow. W's in the chat to Joel once again for the $5 super chat. Ain't no way he confused Tim Scott and Byron Donalds. LMAO, I'm howling. They love them boys so much they think they're the same dude. That shit is crazy. Tim, they'll never pick him, Scott, and Byron Donalds, who can't spell achievability. W's in the chat to y'all. Guys, best way to support the platform is going to be the links in the bio. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Hector Talks with 2 R's and Cash App and Venmo. PayPal, Hector Pal with 2 O's and 2 R's. If you're over on the Tube side, you can send a super chat or a super sticker. Please make sure you're liking the stream. Thank you guys on TikTok for getting over 100,000 likes. Those on the YouTube side, let's get the likes up over 100 and then on to 200. Casper, did you vote for Trump?
Hell no.
Did you say no?
No.
Okay, got you. You were in the request, so I assumed that you would have been a Trump supporter, because only Trump supporters should be up in the requests and stuff. Connor, did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I did.
Do you regret your vote?
I did not.
Why is that?
Because he is just overall the better candidate.
The better candidate?
Yep.
What year are we in?
What year?
Yeah.
Like born?
What year are we in?
2026.
2026. So I don't know why you're speaking to me as if Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are campaigning together still, because they're not.
That's not what I mean. That's
against
not what
each
I mean.
other still. We would have had a year and a half so far of Trump's implementation of his policies,
I said
and
he was
more
the
than
better
enough
candidate
substance
to
for
them.
you to regret your vote based off of, and not the candidate who lost. So can you place your arguments off of what Donald Trump has done so far that warrants your continued support versus regret?
Yeah, so I like his immigration policy for sure.
What do you like about his immigration policy?
Just the fact that if you break into the country illegally and like you, what other punishment other than deportation should happen?
First time is a, what you want to call it? It was a financial, it's $250 fine. It's a fine. It's literally it.
Okay.
It's a fine. Improper entry.
Is that how it is now, or?
I mean, yeah.
God
Donald Trump's
bless
not respecting it, but yeah, it's a fine.
How is he not respecting it?
USC 1325. 1158 is asylum, I believe. It's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
Do we treat all misdemeanors the same way we treat other offenses?
No.
Okay, it's a misdemeanor to take a Kit Kat from a 7-Eleven. Would you want that person to be thrown in jail over a Kit Kat?
No, but
Okay, so then why would you want deportation for undocumented migrants who came into the country without the right documentation or through the proper ports when all they wanted was a better life?
I get they want a better life, but like a better life doesn't mean like committing a crime and breaking in like to a country.
Yeah, the crime is just walking over a border, an imaginary border. It doesn't serve us to implement any type of mass
Puts
deportation.
Americans in harm because
It doesn't. The majority of undocumented migrants are extremely less likely to commit crimes compared to the average American, 2 to 4 times even. You can look at the conviction rates. You can look at the arrest rates.
Wait, so what do you think?
Every single metric, you are literally safer around an undocumented migrant than you or me.
What do you think should happen if?
I think undocumented migrants here in the United States should be given a pathway to citizenship. I think we do need more,
How is that?
Immigration reform, specifically at the border, mainly because it is a liability in the sense of having a bunch of undocumented migrants come here, having some responsibility for them when we don't even have the infrastructure. We saw gross amounts of issues with HHS specifically and how they handled children. So there's that. But I don't think we should be demonizing people who have not been committed or convicted of a violent crime.
I agree with that.
You couldn't possibly agree with that if you voted for the Trump administration. His entire campaign trail, it was based off of demonization.
I think that if you are here illegally, you should be sent back and then given the opportunity to make things right and come here legally, and that's what the case is.
Why would we waste the money and send them back when we can vet them here and give them a pathway to citizenship?
It just commit a crime, you get
you do understand the average deportation is roughly between $60-something to $74,000 from finding them to detaining them to some of the court process, which is why Donald Trump is skipping them, thus violating the due process, and then shipping them off. Then we can talk about the human rights violations specifically, because some of these people are being sent to countries that they didn't even come here from. So now we're not even sending them back to their homes. We're putting them in strange areas with strange people, opening them up to harm. That makes no sense when we can just capture them. I don't like that terminology, but capture them, vet them, and upon them having no violent criminal records, we can just give them a pathway to citizenship so they can continue to contribute to our economy. They're already doing so on the local and state level with taxes that they would pay. We would then be able to do it on the federal level because they'd have documentation and be able to pay federal taxes, income taxes, and others.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fair point. Right. Also, how do you think about ICE?
I think ICE should be abolished. Will it happen? Probably not. In which case,
do you think
reform.
ICE is bad? Do you think ICE is bad because of Trump?
I think ICE under the Trump administration is a terrorist group. Yes.
So, do you think ICE was bad under Obama?
Actually, yes. ICE definitely had some misconduct under Obama. There's reports that came out from 2014 that showed ICE agents were intentionally throwing themselves in front of moving vehicles to justify shooting people in the face.
I also believe that under Obama, ICE was worse.
There would be no evidence to support the fact that they were worse, but maybe they absolutely had their problems.
Yeah, but the thing I really disagree is with people thinking, oh, ICE is so bad. Only was there protests against ICE under Obama?
Yes.
Not
to the same degree, no. But we can look at the outrage. We can look at the ACLU and their lawsuits, so on and so forth. ICE has been being protested, but it's ramped up significantly under this administration because Trump is masking them up. So we don't know who these people are. We're fast-tracking training for them, going even as far as to bypassing certain vetting and background checks. We have reports from places like Georgia where there are people with domestic violence assault charges that were able to slip through the training process, get put out in the field before it was even verified in their system. And then they're going as far as to harassing American civilians, detaining American civilians who have proof of citizenship that they refuse to acknowledge, shooting Americans in the face and in the back, despite them being unarmed or showing no intention of harming them, and then violating undocumented migrants' due process. So That is something that has not taken place to the same degree that it has in the history of the United States under the Trump administration.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's just people think ICE is so bad just because of Trump, and they don't understand. No, I understand.
The president of the United States before Donald Trump has never justified an ICE shooting against an unarmed civilian. He's never justified the harassment of ICE agents, harassment of undocumented migrants by ICE agents. The president has, even going as far as to lying on behalf of the victims of them, such as what he did with Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy. He called Alex Preddy a gunman and Renee Nicole Good a domestic terrorist. Yeah, I'm sorry. Are you anti-Second Amendment?
No, not at all. And I'm not saying.
So why you bring up him having a gun?
There's like video, like there's angles and stuff supposedly that he was reaching for it, and
there's not a single angle that shows him reaching for a firearm.
Yeah, well, that's just what people say. So I don't know.
People say all kinds of things. No, I can say I'm a cat with a tail growing out of my ass. Does that make it true?
I mean, maybe. To be honest.
Men lie, women lie.
We'll never know.
Facts don't. And there's no facts to substantiate the claim that you just made. Only Donald Trump's words. W's in the chat to Jared for the $5 Venmo. Just wanted to send this to make sure how just wanted to send you this to make sure. I think you meant to say how much I appreciate you and your work. I know it gets frustrating, but you're doing so much good. Your kindness and encouragement in this community has kept me afloat. Heading out to get hot pot. Have a great one. I haven't seen a hot pot in a hot minute. I'm not gonna lie, it's funny. W's in the chat to you. Thank you so much, Jared. I appreciate your support. Big W's to you. Anyone else want to support the platform? You know the links. Those of you on the YouTube side, super chat, super sticker, or consider becoming a member.
Call from.
I'm just gonna say
Jordan.
Jordan, you're on the line. Hold for a moment.
God bless you.
I don't think you understand what mass deportation actually does and what it actually looks like. You and I can agree that undocumented migrants in mass can pose a safety risk in the aspect of they're unvetted. So literally anyone can slip in. Sure, 6,000%. You and I can agree that some of them may pose a harm to American civilians and that we have some process that we have to uphold. Sure, we can absolutely agree with that. The difference is the Trump administration did not run off of and hasn't even proposed so far any type of immigration reform to fix that problem. In fact, the Trump administration went as far as to condemning it and shutting it down in the form of S4361 in 2024 on the campaign trail. If you don't know what S4361 is commonly referred to as the Langford bill, it would have actively set a cap on encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border specifically every single week. Give an additional $700 million to border wall construction, which I think is stupid, but it was the Democratic compromise. And then give an additional funding to hire immigration judges and lawyers. So with more judges and lawyers to vet people, right, to go through the processes, that would have fast-tracked who actually deserves to be here, who deserves to have their asylum claims accepted, and then sped up the bad eggs to get them up out the paint. And all the people waiting for years and years and years on end with no criminal record who want to be contributing members of society, benefit from the American dream, would have then been allowed to do so at an infinitely faster rate than we currently have. And Trump said no. Trump wanted something to run off of. Every single Republican but Murkowski in Alaska voted against it in the Senate. And he literally said, blame it on me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely Republican. However, I'm going to be honest. I don't think Trump is the best. I think he's really corrupt, and I don't think he's the best president we could have for the Republican Party. But overall, yeah, I'm just going to say that because I'm not trying to be oh, Trump. I love Trump so much. I don't. But
Trump's is definitely not a Republican. He may have more conservative values, but he leans toward the far right members of the party, and in no way, shape, or form is he a Christian. But appreciate you coming up. Miss Mister, did you vote for Trump? Miss Mister, did you vote for Trump? They said no, and they put it in the comments. Caller, you're on the line. Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I did.
And do you regret your vote?
Do I regret my vote?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Why is that?
Because in a two-party system, you kind of have only two options. And my vote for Trump was about like 25% support for him versus 75% anti-Democrat vote.
Okay. You think it's good for the average American to go to the polls, not for the intention of voting for something, but voting against something?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's healthy for Americans to vote against something that they do not understand?
I think that they understand it plenty.
Sure. Tell me what you understand about Kamala Harris and her policies.
Well, the thing about Kamala Harris was that she was very shifty. So I don't know exactly what she believed in, because in 2020, she stood for a lot of things that I would have said I was against. She was against fossil fuel energy. She was more for open borders and decriminalization of border crossings. It's been so many years. But those are two big ones I would say I was strongly against her for. But like as the 2024 election came up and she became an actual prominent candidate, she obviously had to moderate her views to make a more of appeal to the Midwest.
That doesn't make her shifty at all. If she holds those values but decides to run off of stuff that the average American can appeal towards because she would be serving those Americans, that's not shifty at all. It's being smart.
Well, that's the thing is like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Well, that's the thing is like, I could believe that she had a genuine change of heart, but she never really explained why she changed her opinions on like all these issues.
There's nothing
which
to have a change
tells me
of heart
she was
over.
just sort of, you know the term hiding your power level. You ever heard that?
Yeah, she wasn't doing that.
She wasn't doing that?
No.
How do you know that?
First of all, she still very much stood for decriminalizing undocumented migrants wanting to come here for a better life, but she still was for enforcing the law. She quite literally ran off of that and sponsored bills that would have done the exact same thing. She's still not the biggest fan of fracking, but she just encouraged green energy policies, much like she did as a vice president under the Biden administration, because, you know, renewable energy is renewable versus the finite resources that are limited on the earth.
They're not as limited as you think they are.
Doesn't change the fact that it's finite.
Well, I mean, if we want to worry about what happens 200 years from now, I'll talk to you then. But in the meantime, they are the most abundant, affordable, reliable source of energy that we have.
Affordable.
I'm all in favor of nuclear, just for the record.
Wind farms are infinitely cheaper than your average refinery. Same with solar farms.
Yeah, but wind farms are like they're non-reliable.
What do you mean they're non-reliable?
When the wind's not blowing, you're not producing energy.
You...
Do you disagree with that?
Do you? Oh, wow. Okay. Do you believe there's any point in time where there's no wind whatsoever blowing?
When the wind's not blowing, wind energy does not produce
is
energy.
Always blowing.
How does wind energy work?
It's just the degree of which it would be blowing. And then they would also, someone would be, thing powered. Whatchamacallit, a little like electricity.
What was that? Sorry. I'm really, it's not you. It's like I have a really bad phone, so I can barely hear you.
They're there's some of them are still powered by electricity when there's not the when the wind isn't blowing to the degree that you're saying, but air is always moving. Power bank, thank you. I'm so blanking on. Same with solar. I don't know why I was blanking on that. Yes, that's correct.
Yes, the power banks, but those require rare earth minerals, and they are very costly to upkeep and to produce.
Not
so you're always going to depend on a backup source of energy like oil or natural gas or coal or nuclear. Like I said, I'm very popular in nuclear and hydro energy. I like hydro too.
Again, not necessarily, and it would still be significantly less than what a refinery would need. Sorry, what was that? It would still be significantly less than what a refinery would need. And they are 95% renewable, 95% renewable. The cost of renewing it is a different conversation, but it's still renewable.
Well, the cost is an important part because if you make energy more affordable, energy is the industry that powers all other industries. So if you make energy more expensive, you make everything more expensive.
Yeah, that's the point. It's infinitely cheaper to create windmill and solar farms long term and the banks that power them versus oil refineries.
But once the oil refineries are built, which we have, and I wish we had more, they produce much more for them.
What do you mean they produce much more oil?
The cost per kilo megawatt from oil, coal, natural gas is lower than the cost per megawatt of wind or solar.
Pretty sure that is not correct. Excuse me.
All right, we can look it up.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
We can't look it up.
What do you mean we can't look it up? I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
Wind versus boom, 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 boom. Onshore wind is significantly cheaper than coal. Wind energy costs between 0.027 and 0.086 per kilowatt. In contrast, coal costs between 0.070 and 0.169 per kilowatt. This factors in LCOE, which is levelized cost of energy, and that takes in construction, operation, and fuel costs over a plant's lifetime. And is infinitely cheaper, not only to maintain them, but to build up windmill and solar farms, windmills specifically, versus your coal refinery by, in some cases, almost billions. Nah, not too many billions, but a lot of millions.
Well, I don't know why it's not giving me from natural gas. I got 123 megawatts. Sorry, what was that? $123 per megawatt. That can't be right. So natural gas is $45 per megawatt hour. Solar is about $44, so it's about on par. And onshore wind is about 56. So wind is more expensive than solar or natural gas, but solar is about as good as natural gas.
Where are you reading this from?
Per megawatt hour. So you know what, how energy is calculated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So per megawatt, that's, what is that? 1 million watts. And you're on your clock on your home, you have kilowatt hours.
What are you reading?
So depending on how big your city is, you're going to need X amount of megawatt hours.
Again, where are you reading this from? Because I don't know where you could possibly find that number.
This is from utilitydive.com.
Utility what?
Utility Dive.
What is the article name?
Well, say it again. The author? I don't know the author. This is just from the website.
So if you're reading,
would the author matter to you? Would it, if I cited
you for the author,
energy journalist would mean much to you?
I didn't ask you for an author. I asked you for the article name on the website that you were reading it from.
Oh, I didn't get the article. I can get the article. This is from Lazard Renewables Can Challenge Existing Coal.
Coal.
And let me just add this as a caveat because we're going deep dive into energy. Energy is one factor that I was against the Democrats on.
Boom, 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 boom. Independent journalist Michael Thomas. What? David Roberts. Michael Raid. Why you guys spam? Who's Michael Raid?
Who's Michael Wade? I don't know who Michael Wade is. Who's that?
I don't know who Michael Raid is. So my chat is spamming. I'm not sure who that is. Michael unmuted? Is that his? Okay, you guys are confusing me. Is this the guy who's spreading this around? Is that what I'm missing here? Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to the chat?
It was the chat for a second. I want to know what you're reading from, specifically the name of the article.
Okay. But like I said, energy is one factor I was against the Democrats on.
Oh, I'm so stupid. Whoever Michael is, W's to the Michael Raid.
Hey, don't put yourself up.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Michael.
I said, who is Michael Raid? Oh, it's funny. Yo. For a bald black guy, I have my blonde moments. Fucking insane. Okay. Whoever Michael is, shout out to you. Whoever Michael
Hector,
is.
that's what I was going up to tell you. Michael unmuted, was live, and he said, "Want to come over here and do a raid from his live."
Okay.
It's good to see you, buddy. It's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. Thank you for
I haven't
coming up.
seen you in a minute.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Am I
I appreciate
still on?
you. Yes, you are. I'm so sorry. I'm dealing with other stuff over here. Okay, so you said per gigawatt that wind would be more expensive. Is when?
Well, I don't even know if we calculate energy in gigawatt.
Well, that's
megawatts
what
usually.
You said gigawatt or megawatt?
Megawatt.
Okay.
But even then, and like I already said, like solar is about on par with natural gas.
Again, I do not know where you'd be getting this from.
Like I told you, it was utility dive.
Utility dive. I don't know what utility dive is, but it seems to be contradictory from literally everything that I'm reading here.
And everything you're telling me is contradictory from everything I've heard.
So the average cost here, let's see, as of 2023, wind 3040, for the megawatt, utility scale solar 2535, natural gas 45 to 70. So you said energy dive. Again, you'd be reading from something specifically on the energy side. I want to know what that source is. So if you can tell me the name of what you're reading from, outside of just the name of the website.
I told you the name of the article.
The name of the article is Energy Dive?
No. It was Utility Dive was the name of the website, and I gave you the name of the article.
Okay, Utility Dive.
But I'll be honest. What? Okay.
Utility Dive.
Utility Dive. I don't know why you keep saying Energy Dive. I think
I literally just said I corrected myself. I said utility. Utility Drive. What's the name of the article?
It's also smartenergy.com if you want to go to that source instead.
Oh my god!
But it shows that natural gas is
multiple
about
sources.
on par with. Solar.
Which one are you reading from that gave the number that you referenced?
AI. It gave me the source.
Okay, an AI overview on Google.
Yes.
So you don't have the actual article that you would be reading from. You just have an AI overview of a source that seems to, once again, contradict every single thing that I'm looking up here.
Okay. One, I didn't expect to discuss energy with you, so I wasn't going to have like an article in front of me. I just did a quick AI Google search to ask the question of, is natural gas as affordable as renewables?
Yeah, well, you
secondly,
contradicted what I
said
looked
energy
up.
was one of many factors that I was anti-democrat for.
Sure, and we're on one of those factors. We got on the fact that coal is finite, and then you said, well, this other one is so much more expensive. Then I said, no, that's wrong, and then I've been trying to
No. I said my
that,
issue with renewables was that they were unreliable, not that they were inexpensive.
which was not true.
That you're always going
And then
to
I
need
mentioned
a
the
backup
cost.
source of energy if you're going to rely on renewables. Like you can do hydro, you could do natural gas, you could do nuclear. I'm really a big fan of nuclear, as I said many times. But you cannot just power the entire grid on just renewables. I think like right now it's something like 10 or 11%, and that's with huge subsidies from the government.
We're moving. Do you think we don't subsidize the oil industry?
No, we do, but the oil industry is actually productive.
So is. I live in Texas. 30% of our power is wind because our infrastructure, our grid is trash. And we're trying to increase it more and more every single year. I am aware of what the other 70% would be. Again, renewable energy is a journey. We've been able to make these leaps in progress because of the investment that we put into energy, and we're seeing the results of it, even in a red state like mine. Again,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but since we're talking about your state of Texas, remember that big winter storm or you had a few years ago that caused your energy grid to collapse?
Yeah.
What was the failure rate for wind energy there?
I don't know. Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, but I remember that it was the largest factor for why your grid collapsed, is because the wind turbines, I think, were malfunctioning at something like 80
I'm
to
sorry.
90%.
You think the state that at the time wasn't even 30% ran by wind energy, which would be 70-something% more regular, you think wind somehow was the largest factor of failure?
Yes, it was the largest factor of failure.
Yeah, that's
As in, like, your oil producing, your gas producing didn't fail at near the rate that the wind energy failed. And I know it seems like small when you think about, like, 70% of the states run on, like, fossil fuels. But the problem is that the way power works is it's based on a constant equilibrium between production and consumption. So it doesn't matter that 30% was on wind energy.
You're wrong.
If that collapses, your whole grid stops.
You're wrong.
Yes, it does.
You're completely
I'm wrong about how power works.
Well, I don't know if you know how power works. You can't even get the cost right, but you're wrong about the situation in Texas specifically.
That the wind turbines were not the ones that were most fit.
Some wind turbines did fail, yes, but the majority of the failure in our grid was not due to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that would contradict what I've read on it, because what I've read was something like,
my guy,
80 to 90%
you keep
of
reading AI overviews that I can't
whereas the oil
substantiate.
production
So
didn't
I don't know what to do with what you're allegedly reading.
And you know why
because
it actually
literally
wind turbines
contradicts
failed? And it's not
everything
even
that I'm
like a
looking
fault
up
of
here.
Texas. It's just that was a freak 1 in 100-year storm.
It sure was.
Like,
so
the
really
way that
blaming
the-
any one of them is ridiculous, but we can say that the grid, as limited as it is, was the main factor. And we've been trying to expand or move away from it in part with wind energy. W's in the chat to the One Mighty Pen for the $10 super chat. For a boba, because you seem like you need a break. Who is Michael Raid? I love you, bot 8475. W's in the chat to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your donation. I really got a raid, and I said, who is Michael Raid? I am so bruh. W's in the chat to, I can't see your username, but I just sent you a like. For the $20 super chat, I'm so sick of both sidism. No Dem called my great nephew the N-word or a black milky. Oh, Jesus. No Dem pardoned J-Sixers. No Dem tried to sabotage the VA. No Dem has started a major military conflict on a lie. May have instigated some on a lie, to be fair, but yeah. I am not a sucker or a loser. Continue not to be one. Thank you so much for your 20. I appreciate your support. W's in the chat to you. W's in the chat to Rad for the $5 super chat. Let's not forget ISIS detained Leo Garcia Venegas, a U.S. citizen, 3 times, calling his real ID fake repeatedly by looking like an illegal immigrant. Exactly. And by looking like an illegal immigrant, the dude was literally brown. I'll never forget that story. 3 times over, they got him. Every single time he had a real ID. That's the thing Republicans like the real ID, and they said it's fake. Same thing they did with Dulce in Maryland. Same exact thing. W's in the chat to you. I appreciate your support. Guys, best way to support the platform is going to be the links in the bio. Direct donations, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. If you're over on the tube side, super chat or super sticker. So again, I really want to narrow down one of the things that you read so we can move on in this conversation. And I refuse to move on in this conversation until I do, because I don't possibly know where you can read that it was 56 megawatt versus the other costs. So if you can pull that up again so I can look it up myself.
And it was a Google AI summary.
Again, the Google AI summary would be pulling from a source. The source would have a website and the name of the article. What is it?
And I gave you the name of the website and I gave you the name of the article. I could go back and find it if you'd like, but I already exited out of that chat.
You said utility source, utility serve. What did you say?
But
dive.
I think
You
you're
said
fixating
utility
a little bit
dive.
too much on the expense when I'm talking about the reliability of renewables.
Listen, you made a claim.
Renewables are unreliable.
You made a claim.
Hydro is a very reliable.
You
source
made
of
a
energy.
claim. We're verifying it. That's it. That's it. We just don't let things slide without the verification. That's all. I'm verifying it because I don't know what the hell you're reading from.
Okay, sorry. I know I'm not. We're talking over each other. I don't want to do that.
Utility dive solar what?
Like we're fixating a lot on the one article. And
that's what you referenced to contest the price.
Even if I grant you that solar and wind are cheaper than natural gas, my big issue with renewables, wind and solar...
My guy, I have no problem getting back to your big issues, and we can dig deeper into that. But I do not move on when misinformation is spread. I'm going to verify your claim before we move forward, because everything I'm looking up is contradicting what you said. So I want to know what your source is. You said utility guide. That's what I have here.
Yes, I've said it 15 times now, yep.
Utilityguide.com. And what is the article on Utility Guide that you were reading from? What was the one that AI overview sourced?
Well, let me go back to the chat.
You can literally look up your history. You can tell me exactly what you put in, and I can pull it up.
Yes, that takes time. I am going to look it up.
It takes time to go to your history of something you just Googled?
How does that not factor? Like, yes, I'm going to the article. let's see. Lazard, renewables can challenge existing coal plants.
Okay. Renewables.
It's written by Gavin Bade, and it's written in 2018.
Okay, renewables can challenge existing what?
Existing coal plants.
Existing coal
And I said natural gas,
plants.
not coal. But anyways.
Okay. All right. Utility dive, Lazard, November the 2nd, 12th, 2018. So this would be a little outdated there. Average cost for wind and solar energy can undercut existing coal generation even without subsidies, according to analysis from the research firm Lizard. The latest version of Lazard's levelized cost of energy analysis finds that U.S. onshore wind energy costs average between 26 megawatts and 56 megawatts without subsidies, while utility-scale solar averages between 36 megawatts and 44 megawatts. That challenges the average cost for existing U.S. coal plants, which Lazard pegs between 27 megawatts and 45 megawatts. So this is specifically talking about the cost without subsidies, and this would be roughly
without subsidies, it'd be
8 years old.
$56 per megawatt hour.
Maximum. It could go up to, yes. And again, this would be outdated.
There could be some revolutionary technology that makes solar far more achievable. I can grant that.
What I cited,
but I'm saying, like,
would be updated.
What we have is renewables are largely subsidized by the federal government, and yes.
Hold on, I really need to drill this point home.
Are actually productive.
I really need to drill the point home that this is outdated as fuck, and what I reference is from 2023.
Okay, well, could you give me that name of that article?
Yes, I can.
All right.
This was.
Yeah. So.
This was. We got PV Magazine, 5 Digital Energy, Our World in Data. This specifically references the subsidies.
Let's do the first one. PV Magazine.
Yeah, solar cost of electricity beats lowest cost fossil fuel.
Solar cost. I'm not that fast at typing. Can you talk slower? I'm sorry.
Yes. Solar cost of electricity beats lowest cost fossil fuel.
All right. Oh, you said PV Magazine?
Yes.
I heard TV. Sorry. Okay, let me see. U.S. International Trade Commission. Yeah, this is a far more recent article. Wait, it doesn't even give me the article. Hold on.
July 1st, 2025.
Oh, that didn't work. Yeah. I 2025.
Granted, from one of them, the breakdown that I saw was from 2023, but yeah, that was updated in 2025.
Okay. When I type in the name of the article, I can't find it. I see solar cost of electricity. Okay, I think I found it.
Also, I think you'd be talking about offshore wind costs, which is high.
Was it Ryan Kennedy, July 2025?
Yeah, July 1st, 2025.
Okay. This was actually debating 30% systems despite below the tax credit. Unsubsidized utility scale solar without tax credits ranges from 0.38 per kilowatt hour to 0.78 per kilowatt hour, while onshore wind registers the lowest possible at 0.37 to 0.86. Utility scale solar with energy storage co-located ranges from 0.5 to 1.31. Notably, these two subsidized lowest cost technologies are cheaper than the lowest cost marginal cost of fossil fuels, meaning that but that's with the subsidies.
It says here, with subsidies included, the cost average is even stronger. Utility scale solar is as inexpensive as 0.02.
Yeah, but that still confirms what my article said, is that with subsidies, it's affordable. Without subsidies, it's not affordable.
What? No.
Yeah.
Hold on. First off, this is actually, funny enough, what you cited beforehand, but this is updated. This is Lazard's. This is where they get the research from. Lazard's analysis finds that unsubsidized utility scale solar.
Two subsidized lowest cost technologies are cheaper than the lowest cost marginal cost of fossil fuels, meaning that the most cost effective combined cycle natural gas plants that are already built and operating more expensive electricity generators than new builds on solar and wind.
Hold on. Where are you
saying like basically this. I'm on the article that you have.
I know. What section? I'm here at the first graph.
The first graph. Yeah, I'm looking at it. My phone's small. Hold on. Yeah, 38 to 78 for solar.
Yeah, because that was the unsubsidized utility scale solar without tax credits, range from let's just say 0.38 to 0.78, while onshore wind registers the lowest possible LCOE, which was from 0.37 to 0.86.
Well, actually, it shows that the gas combined cycle is actually the most cost affordable. But the funny thing is the U.S. nuclear is actually really affordable too, which I've been advocating for this whole time.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily opposed to nuclear energy. We actually saw record investments
under
the
That's
Biden
a point of
administration into that. They were just more on incrementally doing it versus some of the other ones.
Do you know Kamala Harris's position on nuclear? I don't think she ever publicly stated it, or if she did, I never heard it.
She was never against
God bless you.
I would imagine it was the overall Democratic position.
Hold on.
To where
You
they
just
don't
got
mind.
cut off by something.
It was a gift thing. It was the exploration of it, but incrementally.
She was for incremental implementation of nuclear energy.
Well, no, I want to be super duper clear, since she never gave an official stance on it, and we can look at what the Biden-Harris administration did with nuclear investments. That was incremental. So I'm using that to say the general Democratic sense, or at least what was posed under Biden. I actually cannot tell you specifically what her nuclear positions was, but she never condemned it. Thank you so much, Gucci, for the DJ glasses. Shout out to you. W's in the chat to you.
Yeah, so the fact that she doesn't talk about it publicly, or the fact that more politicians don't talk about it publicly, actually upsets me, because nuclear is the future. I think that is the best option. And actually, I think by the numbers, it's the safest form of energy. It's just like, have you ever heard of the Simpson effect on nuclear energy?
No.
It's funny. It's just like there was more pro-nuclear sentiments before The Simpsons came out, and then after The Simpsons came out, we got Homer Simpson running a nuclear plant, and every other day it's a meltdown. People think that nuclear is far more dangerous than it actually is, which I just find is funny as all.
Sure, we can talk about more investments into nuclear, but that doesn't have to come at the cost of the advancements we've made in other departments.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not against solar and wind. I just don't like the subsidies for them, because I think it's funding a failing, unreliable source of energy, when there are more reliable, more productive forms of energy we could be putting our money.
You have yet to substantiate what makes it unreliable.
Because they can only generate power when the sun is, and you're going to say power banks. Yes, that requires a lot of land and a lot of investment in terms of rare earth minerals. Rare earth minerals we don't have, and we would need to take from other countries.
I mean, we have also made investments into that, specifically under the Trump administration, the deal they're trying to make with Ukraine. Also, we have a bunch of land. A lot of it would be federal land, which would require deregulation, which we've seen a little bit of. And then the batteries, that's literally the point of whenever the sun isn't shining as heavy, which is night, and whenever the wind isn't blowing like a hurricane, which is often. That's the whole point of the banks.
No, I agree. And I'm just saying that, like, trying to run your entire power grid on two forms of energy that are less reliable than, one, all these other forms of energy are transportable. Like, you can move uranium, you can move gas, you can move oil. You can't move the sun.
Which contributes to the cost.
Where the sun doesn't shine. Like, I live in Washington, like Western Washington, and like I looked this up one time. Seattle has the fewest sunny days of any major city in the country. Like, it's supposed to be summer right now, and every day this week has been overcast and cold. It's kind of annoying. Because 4th of July is coming up, and I want to enjoy it.
Again, en masse. That's literally what the banks are there to supplement.
Right, and I'm saying that we have better forms of energy that don't require those power banks.
Okay, you're saying the requirement of the power banks inherently makes them like failures, which is not true at all. It's a part of the whole system.
No, I'm saying that, like, they're, by design, they need the power banks to be sustainable when they're not producing, whereas all other forms of energy is consistent. You cannot run Yes, you'll say like in 200 years we'll run out of oil or something. But like the way it works is that basically those boilers are going all the time. They never stop.
I don't understand what you're criticizing. If you just don't like the energy, you don't like the energy. But your arguments against
No,
it
I didn't say that. I don't mind
it's
solar or wind. I just think that the idea of trying to power your entire grid on solar and wind is ridiculous.
Well, we're not trying to do that right now, quite frankly, because we can't.
Exactly, we can't.
We're
And yet we
working
have
on the
a lot of
technology
investment
to
into
move
them
forward.
and not enough investment into reliable forms of energy like fossil fuels or hydro.
Well, we don't need
In fact, in
more
my state of
investments into
Washington,
fossil
the
fuels.
Democrats are
We've
trying
done
to
quite a bit of that.
decommission more dams, which would make energy prices go up, and hydro is a clean form of energy.
Okay, so we can get more investments into hydro. That still deters from coal, and that still deters from fossil fuels.
Well, I'm not against natural gas. Coal, I'm mixed on. I have no strong opinion on coal. I feel like if I were living in West Virginia or Pennsylvania, I'd be pissed about like not using coal. But I don't live in those states, so I'm more invested in hydro. And the thing is, the Democrats in my state are actively trying to decommission dams. They're trying to take away the dams so that they can put more money into solar and wind when those are not good forms of energy compared to hydro.
Okay, how are they not as good as hydro?
Well, hydro can be stored. So therefore, you have a constant flow of energy.
Okay.
Dependable, reliable. If that has not been made clear, that's what I care about. Reliable forms of energy.
Solar energy could be
Expense
stored
matters
as
too.
well.
Expense matters too. I'm not going to say.
The whole point of the battery. I feel like we're going in full circle here. You're saying storage makes hydro good, when the purpose of the battery would be for solar and wind.
Yes, but the way that hydro is stored is just you have a bunch of water behind the dam. You don't have a lot of there's no need for rare earth minerals. There's no need for massive amounts of land. You just have a lake.
Okay, so then that would not be beneficial to other areas, more drier areas, more dry states.
No, I agree. I think if Arizona wanted to put more money into solar, by all means, do it. I just think at the federal level, we shouldn't be involved with that. And if we should, it should be nuclear or probably natural gas or hydro.
What are your other issues with Kamala Harris in her campaign?
Well, I think, it's not so much Kamala Harris because like I said earlier, I don't know what she believes because she changed her opinions a lot between 2020 and 2024. So much so that it sounds like an outright lie. My major issues with the Democrats, I would say, is crime and immigration.
Okay. Well, we opened up specifically talking about how you voted against something, and that would be Kamala Harris. She was the presidential candidate.
No. I voted against the Democrats.
Okay.
Kamala Harris happened to be the representative of the Democrats, yes.
Okay. Well, then her platform would be something you would have voted against as well. So
yes, and her platform aligns with what many Democrats want. And what they don't rely on, what the Democrats don't like her about, is that they think she's too moderate. It seems a lot of the time when they're criticizing her. And the only reason they think she's moderate is because she's sort of just like a politician. She'll say whatever she needs to say in the moment to win.
Kamala Harris in no way, shape, or form is indicated or shown to be any kind of a flip-flopper. She stayed mostly consistent. Again, she had her stances on fracking is clear. She just formed a more moderate opinion while still believing that it's something we need to steer away from.
Support like a measure to abolish fracking.
Yeah, she said she doesn't oppose a ban for fracking, and then under the Biden administration, it was shown that it would be unfeasible, at least right now. So then she didn't support
they did put it in on fracking all federal land.
Renewable energy.
So they were trying their best to make sure fracking couldn't happen.
Yes,
so
executive orders were passed initially,
fracking,
specifically on land that impacted the environment significantly or tribes. Yes.
Well, what land doesn't impact the environment?
That's the whole point. It was to protect the environment.
Well, that's my point, though, is that whatever you do, you're going to be impacting the environment. And if you're just going to say, well, we're not going to do fracking on the federal lands, you can do it on your private lands. But the federal lands is a lot. We could be doing a lot more fracking, which would be good.
So then that's the entire position of Democrats. It's all about the environment in that regard. It's about protecting it. It's about saying what we have left.
I just don't think that
so I don't know why you're
CO2 is that
against
major of an issue for the environment. I think it's vastly overstated.
Do you think it's vastly overstated that our summers have gotten infinitely hotter and our winters have gotten colder, specifically in areas like Texas? Well, I just said that
my summer here in Washington has gotten really cold. I mean, we still haven't seen the sun in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
But even then, like, even if a summer's hot, that doesn't prove that, like, CO2 is bad.
The worsening of said summers due to climate change is proof enough. How our weathers, our storms are coming more aggressively, specifically from the 60s and 70s compared to now. You say it's long term. Sure. Well, it's been
I
half
agree
a century,
it's gotten warmer, but I disagree that CO2 is the cause.
Okay, CO2 is one of the factors.
Yeah, one of the factors, but like it's a minuscule factor compared to just like the sun cycles, like just getting warmer. And like that's actually kind of good. Because, like I said, more people die from extreme cold than extreme heat, and we're naturally a tropical species. We do better in warm weather, which is why more gets done. Plus, CO2 is plant fertilizer. We grow more food.
Yeah, I'm not an environmental scientist, but I trust the scientists that are saying that it very much is an issue. And I respect the investment that we put into renewable energy.
You have nothing to disagree with me on. You're just going to appeal to someone who's not in the room.
I clearly disagree with a large portion of what you're saying. You're negating the significance.
What did I say that's not true?
You're negating the significance of how uncapped fracking is going to be detrimental to our environment in the ways that it's already shown itself to be. Which I would disagree with you on that. You can negate the impact, and you can talk about we only have to worry about it in 200 years.
That coal and oil do.
You can talk about how it's going to affect us in 200 years. Well, I would also be voting. I would be voting on behalf of the future. I'll be voting on behalf of the people that are going to exist here. That when I don't, that's the whole point. We're trying to slow this shit down because we quite literally are the cause for the destruction of our own planet.
So you think climate change is a doomsday scenario?
A doomsday scenario for the human race? Yeah.
Like where human beings will not yet. Okay, so how so?
What do you mean, how so?
Well, I mean, how does climate change cause the end of humanity? It seems like the question explains itself.
Okay, sure. If our environmental changes can stoke more aggressive earthquakes,
I don't mean to be
hurricanes, hotter summers to where we can die from heat strokes or dehydration, drying up of our water supply, specifically in red states that are already limited, those are one of the ways that we can get less and less of those resources that contribute to our well-being.
Are you done? Can I respond?
Yeah.
Okay, so hot summers and less precipitation.
I mean, those are just some of the things I can mention off the top of my head. Once again, I am not an environmentalist. I can only speak from a position that I know, which is limited. Yeah, well, I would doubt that you're, a wise guy on all these topics, my guy.
That's all right. But okay, so hot summers, like I said, more people die every year. Even today, more people die from they can't heat their homes enough than they die from it's too hot. Significantly more people die from cold weather than they do from hot weather.
They die from not being able to heat their homes enough?
What's that?
Okay, so does climate change not affect the cold?
Well, if the idea of climate change is that we're a warming planet, yes, it would make that the winters would be warmer than they are. So yeah, less people would die of cold.
While global average temperatures are rising, a warming Antarctic weakens the polar jet stream, allowing frigid air to plunge further south into regions like Texas. Oh, wow. Fuck, that tracks, actually. That's literally tracks. Warmer air also holds more moisture, leading to heavier, intense snowfalls when those cold snaps hit.
Okay, well, that's something I didn't know. Thanks, actually. I appreciate that.
Hey, I learned it today, or at least in detail, I learned what it was today.
Hey, we both learned something new. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I guess that's something to be concerned about, is that climate change might make our winters rougher. I'm not so worried about our summers, though.
The problem is this information has been out there and it's been spread by some of the best and brightest of our country for decades now. So
Well, you didn't know it.
I didn't know the specifics. No, the specifics.
Okay, well,
let me
then
be
why are
clear.
you criticizing me for not knowing something that you didn't know?
It's more so about the fact that you are challenging the impact. I'm not challenging the impact. I know it's there. I just couldn't explain the exact metrics of how.
I'm not even challenging the impact. I'm saying that human beings are natural mitigators and adapters, and that, like, I haven't heard the scenario in which climate change causes a doomsday. It causes problems that we will have to adapt to, but I do not see how climate change is our, like, doomsday scenario where it's the end of humanity.
We may not
and
be
that's
able
how a
to
lot of
adapt
Democrats
to.
preach it.
We can't control our weather. We can't control the environment. We can only mitigate some of the negative impacts.
Well, actually, Saudi Arabia has clouding machines to cause it to rain, but that's not important.
That's
Yeah, they can actually cause rain in Saudi Arabia, which is how they have to basically fund their agriculture with clouding effects, because it's a desert.
Hold, please. You said wait, Saudi Arabia has machines that can cause it to rain on the whim.
I believe so. I'd have to look that up.
The players Jones returns. Formation of the aircraft. Expansion 25. Yeah, so the cloud seating. Yeah, okay. So
yeah, so
they've
like
increased it up to
yeah,
20%.
I just looked it up. Saudi Arabia actively uses cloud seeding.
Yeah.
So they large scale program to alter cloud structures to boost annual precipitation by releasing specialized agents into the atmosphere. This technique helps water drop its form and fall as rain.
Yes, this would encourage it, not necessarily control.
Well, I didn't say control. I just said they can make it rain. That's kind of like control.
Again,
like if you can literally make it rain.
It's encouraging the amount, specifically in dry areas.
Sure, yeah, and I think that's good. I think that's human adaptation.
Sure, but that doesn't change the fact that we can't necessarily make it rain, especially if we're not properly counteracting the things that are reducing water in such areas. But sure, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
good for them.
That's my whole point. Is my position is climate change will cause problems for humanity, but humanity is really good at adapting.
Why not avoid the problems?
Ingenuitive. What? Well, how would you solve the problem?
Or reduce the
first off, we can both agree the climate always changes. There's never been what's the right climate for the planet?
Sure, but
what's the proper climate?
Sure, climate always changes. We're talking about the worsening.
Exactly.
We're talking about not irredeemable. What's the word I'm looking for? To the point of no return, specifically for the human race. The Earth will be
I don't
here.
agree that
we may
change
not
causes a doomsday
to the degree,
and you haven't really demonstrated other than like hot summers or even cold winters.
Okay, I'm not necessarily keep coming from a doomsday perspective, but if we can affect it to the degree that more people will die year after year, that is what I would be concerned.
Fewer people die every year from environmental related reasons.
Fewer
people? If we look at a timeline of environmental related deaths from like 1930 to the present, we've reduced climate related like death by like something like 97%.
I'm curious. Debbie's in the chat to Zandredu for the $2 super chat. Look up Mount Rainier's glacier built in Washington State. Hold please. Mount Rainier's.
Oh yeah, we had like a really, really hot summer in 2020, and we actually had the lowest snowpack on the mountain I think in history. Yeah. Or at least in recorded history, that's true. 2020, we had a really brutal summer. I remember too, because like my wife and I well, we had AC, so we were kind of like chilling, but it got to like 112. And like maybe in Texas, 112 seems like, oh, that's a normal heat wave. That shit is, that was unbearable. I mean, but pretty much to me, everything above 85 is really hot.
Oh, I see. I see your point, Xandradu. They're saying Mount Rainier is melting faster than it's reforming. Got it. Interesting.
Yeah, that would probably be true in a warming cycle, yeah.
Okay. Hold on, make sure I get these right. 738. Cool.
But it should also be noted that the snowpack only makes up a small portion of our hydropower. Mostly it's rainfall.
Have less people.
And actually, our warmer winters have actually been increasing, I think, our rainfall. But I can't say that definitively. I'd have to look it up. It feels like our winters are wetter, but I don't know.
Than before. Okay, yeah. Globally, far fewer people die directly from extreme weather, thanks to vast improvements in early warning systems, infrastructure, and disaster management. Direct fatalities from climate disasters have plummeted by over 96% since the 1920s. So yes, we're better able to counteract these storms, not so much in stopping them from happening, but our response to when they're coming. That's evacuations, that's food banks, so on and so forth. But that's different. We're technically talking about two different things. Our ability to better respond to storms doesn't change the fact that if we can play any role in reducing the aggressive nature of them, then we should do that as well. So those are two different things.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. I don't agree that we can do much to control the weather, as you said. I think we can do a lot of things to adapt and to respond better. And I hate to do this, but like I have to get going. We've been talking for a while, and I got to get back to work. Well, not work. I'm not at work. I'm just like household chores and such.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, it was a good talk. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you take it easy. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like that. A large portion of that conversation is kind of outside my element, because it absolutely was. But based off a lot of things I'm seeing here, I don't understand his position completely. W's in the chat to Wesley for the $5 super chat. This guest is stupid. Number one, CO2 is the major cause of climate change. Hydro is no more storable than wind or solar, and fracking ruins the water table. Yeah, I didn't bring up the water part. That's a great point, though, Wesley. W's in the chat to you. Yeah, I don't know. W's in the chat to Wesley once again for the $5 super chat. We currently are living in an ice age, and climate change is pulling us out of it, which will lead to global flooding and increases in extreme weather. Yeah. Not my wheelhouse. Not my wheelhouse. I don't have the greatest understanding of some of the specifics, but I do not understand how we can possibly argue with the scientists and the impact specifically, especially when you're feeling it. I can tell you here in Texas, I'm feeling it. So I was a little thrown off by people who negate climate change's impact on like Texas weather specifically, with it being such a crazy state. That didn't track for me, but let me read these donations. W's in the chat to Gucci for the $10 Venmo. He misrepresented the claim about the Dems in his state. He's stupid. 3, kick. I forgot what he said about the Dems in his state. W's in the chat to... That's wild. Erica for the $20 Venmo. Instead of sending you a super cracker gift, here. What the fuck is a super cracker gift? W's in the chat to Jacob for the $2 Venmo. I can also make it rain, but that's illegal in my state. W's in the chat to Gucci for the 5. Also ask him if he thinks fossil fuels are infinite. No, he said he knows they're finite, but it's not going to be an issue for like another 200 years. That's what he said. W's in the chat to Dean for the $1 Venmo. I wish I was writing a paper on Dunning-Kruger syndrome. Caller would be an entire section by himself. His surfer level knowledge with his overconfidence is incredible. What's he going to do with when the majority of the Midwest farmland is no longer usable for agriculture? Yeah, we have to protect the land. That's how we protect our food. Yeah, I kind of was just like cautious about everything he said after he really tried to argue that wind and solar was more expensive than that was crazy. Kyra, did you vote for Trump?
Yar Charlie.
A person was in the request for a minute. Imagine waiting that long to do that. They were in the request for a minute. Devo, did you vote for Trump?
I did not. I haven't even registered to vote, and I probably won't.
Why?
Not my thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think voting is going to be something I could care about.
You don't care about human rights, equitable taxes, foreign policy.
Well, he's not going to provide them, so why should I vote for him?
Who the hell
In all
is he?
seriousness. Trump. I'm talking about Trump.
How could you vote for Trump after 2024?
No, I mean previous voting, not next voting. I don't even know who's going to be a candidate for 28.
No one does. Because it hasn't been announced yet.
Well, yeah, no shit.
So we're talking about voting on behalf of policies that would, that would benefit you.
I mean,
You're
if
the one who
that
took it to Trump.
proposes itself, I might change my opinion. But right now, no.
What do you mean if that presents itself? It did. It has every single election. How old are you?
No, I'm talking about 28. I'm talking about if another president erection comes up, bro.
Erection? You may not care about politics. You may not be into politics, but politics is into you. Everything is political. Every single thing is political. We play politics every single day. You do it with your friends. You do it at your job. You do it in social spaces. Every single thing is political. And politics impacts every single thing. I really need people to get that. W's in the chat to Sean for the $5 super chat. Oh shit, Sean, I gotta mod you again. I'll say this again. MAGAs who support getting troops unalived on a lie no longer are allowed the luxury of calling themselves pro-life. Yeah, they've never been pro-life. They don't know what that shit means. They don't know what that shit means. W's in the chat to you. W's in the chat to you. Come back on your main so I can get that mod on there. He really said erection. Like Chuck Schumer did. Like Chuck Schumer did. Literally. I never cared about them at 21. Well, congratulations. You're stupid. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sorry. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. You have two people. One of them are going to win. No matter what you do, here's the crazy part about it. Anyone who thinks, oh, both sides, blah, blah, blah. You have two sides. One of them are going to win, whether you participate or not. One of them has the thing that can help you. One has the thing that can harm you. What sense does it make to go, fuck it, I don't want to make my life a little bit more comfortable? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I don't understand about non-voters. There is something that is, regardless of what you do, is going to exist. If you have such vitriol for said system, okay, I understand. I have my issues with politics too. I have my issues with the two-party system. But it's still going to be there. One of them are going to be in power no matter what I do. So if I can throw a vote to one guy who's going to at least go, let's give you this much tax breaks. Let's make sure you can get this much covered on healthcare. Let's do this for children. Let's make sure that we don't fuck up something overseas to make your life domestically worse. I'm going to go, okay, well, give me that. Give me that. It's that simple. It's that simple. Sent you a message on DC regarding the climate discussion. Okay, what did I miss? Oh, John, I forgot. As an environmental scientist, we are in an extinctions era right before an ice age happens. This has happened 4 times before in our history's geological records and satellite predictions. Climate change is natural, but this time it has happened so much faster due to greenhouse gases produced by coal, oil, and etc., and the rocks don't lie. Scientists agree we are currently in the 6th mass extinction, also called the, I may get this word right, Holocene extinction, or Anthropocene extinction. Jonna, you should have just got your ass up here. I forgot, Jonna. You could have just got your ass up here. I would have greatly appreciated that. I was dying up here. W's in the chat to Jonna.
Call from
George.
George, you're on the line. Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
And do you regret your vote?
I do.
All right. Why is that?
Everything I've been seeing lately is awful. Absolutely awful. Even last night, I was watching some of the debates that he was having before the election, and it was just, he just constantly interrupts people. It's honestly embarrassing to watch.
Did you not watch the debates before you voted for him?
I did, and I think at the time I was enjoying it a little bit, that he was just making a fool out of people, and now I don't feel like that made any sense at all. It was just embarrassing to watch, like I said.
So you more so had a change of heart now versus what you were looking for then.
Yeah, I think just like you said, like I think I saw something different then that I see now. I just don't really care for him anymore.
What did you see then that you found appealing?
I think the only thing was that Biden was just even more embarrassing. It was just horrible. I mean, he makes us look stupid. I mean, if Biden is what people around the world think that America looks like, I mean, that's embarrassing. But now I'm starting to feel like, I don't know, I think that both of them were bad candidates, to be honest. I'm an independent, but I mean, I'm trying to vote for the person I think is best to run the country, you know?
Yeah. Biden dropped out. Kamala Harris was the election candidate.
That was like a joke. You didn't think that was like a joke that happened? He basically threw the whole party under the bus.
Joe Biden absolutely did screw over the Democratic Party, and I would argue that is the largest contributor to somewhat costing us the election for sure from the Democratic side. However, that didn't change the merits of Kamala Harris and her campaign.
Yeah, I like how she stood up to him a little bit at times, and then I saw things with her that were just, I don't know, it didn't make any sense to me at all. I didn't think she was fit to run the country, but like I said, I mean, even if she hadn't run, even if Biden had run, I wouldn't have voted for him. I wouldn't have voted for Kamala. I mean, they probably could have put somebody better than Kamala, and I still hear people talking about Kamala. That they like her, and I mean, like, how did you feel about Kamala?
I'll tell you in a second. But give me a sec. Amanda, do you mind talking to him for a second while I use the bathroom? Or are you busy?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, what's your name, caller?
George.
George. Hi, George. I'm Amanda. How are you?
Good. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So just real quick, you pronounce her name Kamala, like the comma in a sentence, and then la.
Yeah, tomato. I mean, yeah.
No, it's not.
Kamala.
No, it's micro. Hold on, George. Right. It's a microaggression against Black women to mispronounce their names. Yes.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm unaware of that, but thank you for making me aware of that.
It's a form of racism. So yeah. So
we're gonna.
Really? Yes. So we're gonna do a good job.
For me, it's just a form of me not knowing any better.
Okay. Well, now you know better, so you're gonna do better, right?
That's right.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So she was actually incredibly qualified for the role, right? Like one of the most qualified candidates we've ever had run for president. No?
I have to disagree with you on that, because I think that just people's credentials and everything alone doesn't necessarily make people want to vote for them. You know, I mean, like when Trump was debating Hillary, he was saying that. He said, you have a lot of experience, but you have bad experience, you know?
Okay. So like, let's say you had to pick out a new primary care physician, right? And you had the choice between somebody who has maybe fixed cars for a living and then just calls themselves a doctor. And then you have somebody who's gone through all the medical training, years of practice, right? Who are you going to choose?
No, I hear what you're saying. It's a good point. I mean, you think that she would have done a lot better job than Trump, obviously, right?
Yes, I do.
What do you think she would have done better than Trump, just out of curiosity?
Sure. I mean, well, not only we wouldn't be in this thing with Iran if Kamala was president.
I agree.
We would have somebody with kindness and decorum, and like she has a very strong spine, right? Like she would have stood up to people on the international stage, right?
Yeah.
She's incredible.
Definitely.
Like just
stand up to him a few times.
Yeah, look at like go when you have a chance, go research her Back on Track program that she put in place when she was in California. It helped people who got like low level DRUG offenses, and like instead of having them just go through the system and just stay with a record and all that stuff, they learned life skills, they got an education, like they get their GED, they took parenting classes, did all those things, and then they were back in society without and being productive members.
Clean record. That's correct.
Yeah.
Really quickly, W's in the chat to your name. I don't know why names don't show up when I do it this way. Hold on. It's Sean. Calvary discussed vetting for the 5. Here's some real history for maggots. Since Eisenhower, a GOP president has gotten us into every major. Since Eisenhower, a GOP president has gotten us into every major and most minor military conflicts. I believe that's correct. I believe that is correct. W's in the chat to you. Guys, best way to support the platform is of course going to be links in the bio. Please feel free to gift Amanda while she's up here as well. And those of you on the YouTube side, hit the like button on the stream, super chat, super sticker, or consider becoming a member. I'm curious though, because you specifically said that you thought that she was a bad candidate. I'm curious as to why. What made her bad?
I would listen to her talk, and I just didn't feel like it didn't really make sense, some of the things that she was saying. She didn't strike me as someone that could be the leader, even though she may be a good politician and, she may be doing good things for the American people. I just didn't feel like I would want her to lead the country, if that makes any sense.
I think when she talked about lowering taxes for people who made $400,000 or less a year and only increasing on that demographic, I think that made a bunch of sense. I think when she talked about the federal price gouging ban on corporations that are robbing American citizens, as confirmed actually by the recent report from the Justice Department under the Trump administration that showed that outside of the bird flu, egg companies monopolized and made a deal with themselves to artificially increase the prices, where if Kamala Harris' federal price gouging ban was implemented, she could have actively tackled that case. I think that made a ton of sense. I think her sponsoring for common sense immigration and reasonable immigration to get rid of the bad eggs and not criminalize the people wanting a better life, I think that made a ton of sense. So I don't know what exactly you thought you heard that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and if I could add, I mean, Trump has been essentially campaigning for 10 years, right? Besides his stint in his first term. But he's been campaigning for that long. Kamala Harris had 107 days, and she got a 80-plus page policy plan out, right? She was organized. Her website was put together. She had stuff done so quickly. So I'm going to look at somebody who's had all these years, has done nothing, had no policy plans to put out in front of us for us to read before, other than a bulleted list on his website, which was bullshit, which is basically just a slimmed down version of Project 2025. But she led a team. She had her team do that. That is a sign of a good leader, right? They got that much stuff done in that short amount of time. It's 3 months, my guy.
With that being said,
it's kind of silly that I looked at her as such a terrible candidate when I went to vote that I didn't really take it seriously. And now I see how Trump loves these executive orders, and he loves to just not care about what Congress and the Senate is telling him to do. And I absolutely don't think she would be doing anything near what Trump has been doing to basically, override the American people's opinion.
So I actually think to some degree, a president that's somewhat willing to go over Congress heads is a good thing. And I'll explain that a little bit deeper. I think Congress a lot of times get hung up on a bunch of nonsense. And sometimes I think executive orders can be necessary, not only to launch Congress to make actual legislative change, but to go above their heads when they're waiting too long. Biden did it a few times, specifically when it came to student loan forgiveness. We had a couple high-profile prosecutions for predatory lenders for individuals who are trying to go to school. And we prosecuted a lot of them. We gave settlements, which they don't deserve. And because of this and the rising cost of the economy overall, specifically after 2022 or during 2022, he decided to forgive student loans because he's like, they're going to school. They're taking all these thousands of dollars out on loans to get these degrees. They're coming out, and we can't even create an economy or maintain an economy that gives them adequate work. So he decided to freeze some of the payments and then forgive a lot of the student loans, specifically for government workers. To me, I saw that no differently from like veterans. Veterans have the ability upon going and serving in the army. You can get certain homeowners loans with no interest, your college paid through the GI Bill, so on and so forth. So individuals who also work for the government saw loan forgiveness. And I thought that was a fantastic thing. But anyway, I said all that to say sometimes I can understand why executive orders go above the legislative branch. But Trump's executive orders specifically are extremely concerning, particularly when it comes to immigration. His executive orders that he passed to stop states from regulating like data centers and protecting their own civilians from the water costs, the energy costs, the ones he passed in regards to immigration, which we can all agree that we may have an immigration problem. We need to definitely address issues at the border. We're not plugging the hole. We're not doing the legislative method of actually permanently solving the solution, or at least addressing money towards tackling that issue. We're just saying deport, and set up the military at the border to scare the fuck out of people. So those are all the concerns that I have there. But I mean, yeah, you said you regret your vote. You get all of this. I guess all I can tell you now is there was a lot of gross media that was put forward against Kamala Harris, things that had nothing to do with her campaign. The party that ran off of, we need to stop doing identity politics and social issues, got up on the world stage, Trump himself, and questioned her blackness. He got up on the stage and talked about, not him specifically, but Republicans talked about her relationship with men in the past. They got up on the stage and talked about how she wasn't a Christian, or mom's Hindu, even though Kamala Harris was raised Baptist. And all these stuff made people focus more on her personal life, or even her honest mistakes in speech, because she testified herself she isn't the best speaker. They focus more on that than what she actually wanted to do for the country. She had a better plan for incentivizing people to have children, actually. Mind you, she was pro-choice, but she actually said, let's give first-time parents, like for children under a year, a $6,000 tax credit. $6,000 that can go towards the additional costs you're putting into Pampers, daycare.
I think you're right. You could have been on her. You could have been on her campaign. I mean, I wish somebody would have said that and pointed those things out. It's a valid point.
The DNC would never hire me. I cuss too much. But yeah, anyway, so the best we can do now going forward, for one, it's a midterm election year. General elections are in November. Every single candidate who identifies as MAGA, who unapologetically sucks Trump off, is a candidate that we don't need. We need less partisanship and more people, regardless of what party they're under, to talk about and focus on policies that benefit you and I. I think we need to talk about equal civil liberties, even with the groups of people we disagree with, the people that we don't understand. I think we need to encourage an economy that employs more folks and giving them adequate amount of not only wages, but benefits, whether it's healthcare or otherwise, when they're there. And I'm going to keep it $150. There is a few Republicans that support that. I do like Curtis Lewa. Curtis Lewa is dope. He needs to run for Congress. Anyways, with that being said, I would strongly encourage you to look at the candidates running off the ballot. And don't focus so much on what you don't like. Focus more on the things that you do like, the things that's going to benefit you and me, regardless of where we lean politically. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's too much, there's too much mudslinging, like what you're talking about, where they're making things that have nothing to do with her politics. They're attacking her personally. And it doesn't, I mean, some of it is going to add up to something in a lot of people's minds, but you know, like what you're saying, like the actual policies and the things that these people are doing is what's really important when you go to vote for them. Like, I'm definitely on your page on that. I'm assuming that the two of you are both Democrats. Is that right?
I am a Democrat. Yes.
Yeah. See, you know, and I'm an independent, and it is very frustrating for me to just listen to Democrats and Republicans like go at each other's heads and just be so mean and disrespectful to each other. And in some instances, like, it's absolutely valid. I mean, some things that people say are just completely unwarranted. They have no weight behind them at all.
Certainly.
But, there should be some kind of common ground to try and make things better for everyone. And I don't think that the Democrats, the Republicans, for the most part, are attacking those issues. That's why it's refreshing to hear you talk like this, because just slamming Republicans or just slamming Democrats doesn't really accomplish anything at all.
No, but we also, if we don't have open eyes and ears to hear what the side is presenting that works on behalf of Americans versus the rhetoric, that's another issue as well. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like Democrats for the past year and a half hasn't been slandering Trump. I would only argue he fucking deserves it. But they've also been talking about affordability, tackling affordability, specifically with healthcare. This is the perfect opportunity for people, the Democrats, to seize on, and they have seized on. Trump administration told you that the ACA was a cost of the reason why your healthcare has gone up. He cut the ACA subsidies, has been continuing to gut it, and healthcare has still gone up across the board. So clearly that's not the issue. We now need to move towards a better option. So we have a lot more people championing healthcare. I don't think they're going far enough. A lot of them just say they want to add the subsidy back. That's not enough for me. But they're at least addressing that issue. Republicans have not addressed healthcare at all. Like, I can't think of a single Republican who's actually addressed healthcare since 2025. They said it's expensive, but they don't talk about what they did to increase the cost. Sorry.
And I'm going to say, too, I'm not going to call it... I'm going to say we're not... I wouldn't say there's slander, maybe sometimes or whatever, but, like, for the most part, right, like, us... I'm not a Democrat. I'm left. Way left. But I think what's happening is that we're calling out, more and more of us are seeing, like, where our money's going, right? And what our tax dollars are paying for. And we're calling out our politicians that aren't doing anything about it. Like the BOMBs that are going and unaliving children in Gaza, right? Like we're speaking out about those things, and we want people to do something about it. We want to stop funding the I-state, right? So I think it's important. Like, I loved like the policies Biden passed, and I think he's a kind human being. But there's things about him I don't like, and I'm going to call him out on that. I don't like that he was such a supporter of the I-state. I don't like some of the things he did. But I did. I voted for him, and I do support a lot of what he did. But nobody's. It's okay to be a critic of the people that are supposed to represent us. We are their bosses. We're allowed to give them reviews.
Right. Absolutely right. I mean, that's why it's very difficult when Trump keeps doing these executive orders and going over people's heads, because at times I do feel like the American people have our hands tied behind our backs with a lot of these things that we actually care about. And it's just, there's no one listening. It's almost like they hear us, but they're like, we don't care. We're just going to do whatever we want. And it's like, that's not how we set this government up to work.
And that is where personal responsibility comes into play, where especially now, more than ever, this is literally midterms. So the people who will make decisions on important legislation that will actually positively impact our lives, this is the time to vote for them. The person on the campaign trail for the general election who is saying, Democrats are leaving us behind, we need to do more, I'm here to reform the party, or even say some of the DSA parties, I'm here to do better than them. Those are the people that we're looking at. The Republicans are going, hey, we got way too much focus on this cultural war issues. Let's just make sure the government doesn't get too big. Let's make sure our taxes are respectable, so on and so forth. Those could be people you could even vote for, but you have to know who they are. You have to look at them in our small races, our local races, and then those are the people who's going to go to the federal branch and spread that message as well.
Right.
Absolutely. I'd like to add on to what you're saying, Hector.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, George. I just, get involved as much as you can. Like, there's things you don't even have to leave your house. You can make phone calls for local candidates. You can do anything, right? Like, for instance, in Wisconsin here, we're having a gubernatorial primary on August 11th. If you're in Wisconsin, don't forget to vote. So I'm wearing the soles of my shoes out, being on the ground for the person I think would do the best job as our governor, who her name's Fran Hong. She's a DSA member. She wants people to have free healthcare. She wants kids to be able to go to daycare and preschool for free, like all those things that would help out families, and actually is what you would call like a pro-life, right? Because it helps people live lives that live their lives without worrying about how they're going to pay their bills. I am doing the work to try to get this candidate elected, and it's up to us. So we do have some control. We just got to put in the work.
And to be clear, if not everyone can do what Amanda's doing, I think a lot more people can, but not everyone can. My big thing, I advocate for political advocacy and political intelligence, political knowledge. You just, at minimum, you need to know what's happening. I think one of the biggest mistakes that Americans have made in our past few elections is only paying attention to the presidential ones every 4 years. A lot of us don't know that special elections happen just about every year, midterms every 2 years. We need to really pay more attention to that. So we can see.
Agree. Some people don't even know the branches of the government.
Yeah,
what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
They go out and vote.
Precisely. Literally, just talk to a kid like that.
Do you know who your state senator is?
Oh, you're asking me? I'm out in Florida. I'm not sure where you guys are. I'm not sure who you're.
I'm in Texas.
Yeah, and I don't mean that I don't mean your federal senator, right? I mean your state senator. So who's in your state government? Like, do you know those people? Do you vote for those people? Do you get, like Hector's saying, you don't have to be boots on the ground, but there's things you can do. You can talk to your family, right? You can,
right,
just
like
have
some people don't even really
friends.
know about Rick Scott or Ashley Moody, or I agree with you. That's very true. Like, people are uneducated about their own state and about how the government actually works.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw something today.
Hold for 1 second. I'm sorry. Hold for 1 second.
Call from
Ethan.
Ethan, you're on the line. Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did.
All right. Hold for 1 moment. My apologies, caller. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I saw something today that said that there's a bill that Trump has in place right now that he's trying to push through for child support, that he's going to make it so that if you are on if you force someone to pay you child support, I hate to use the word force, but if you have somebody paying you child support, that you can't claim your child, so that the other person is going to be able to basically take that money and pay the child support with that money. I was wondering what you guys thought about that.
Say that again. What was the thing that was introduced?
Yeah, so he's saying that Trump wants to, for me, right? Like, if Ava's dad is paying me child support, then he gets to claim Ava on his taxes.
Right, like if you're getting paid child support from someone, then you can't claim your child. And it's pretty wild when you think about it, because I have a friend, and I mean, he's not like the most model human being on the earth, but he works hard, and he's not a bad person. And he has a situation like that with his kids, where he's paying basically every dollar that he makes to child support. And I was thinking about him when I heard about that. I said, you know what? That wouldn't be too bad for him. I don't know how it would be for other people.
You're saying you can't claim your child on your taxes when you're just paying child support?
No, so because like Ava's dad pays me child support, I would not get to claim her on my taxes.
Oh.
Right. If she was getting paid child support,
that doesn't make
she
any sense.
wouldn't be able to claim her kids.
That doesn't make any sense.
In other words, like if I claim my daughter, and they gave me X amount of dollars, right? A couple thousand, whatever it is, it's 4,000, 6,000, depending on what state you're in, et cetera. And people's income, obviously. But if I'm getting, if say my ex was getting child support from me, she wouldn't be able to claim my daughter.
Even if she was the primary caregiver.
Right. And that's the bill that's coming up right now. I don't like what you were talking about, like we were all talking about. I mean, where do I vote for that? Where do I mean, like I like a lot of other people, like I'm very interested in government, but it's difficult, especially as an independent, because it's hard to vote on certain things at times, as you know. And I'm not exactly, we're not informed. Like they're not going on television and telling people where and how to vote on these things. They're more concerned with nonsense issues. I even heard Bill Clinton one time, and he said 99% of what people talk about, he said the president has nothing to do with it. Like he has no power over it. And I found that really interesting that he said that, because it's odd that things like that aren't on the media and everything like that. It's like everyone's deliberately trying to hide certain things like that.
So that's where social media comes into play, because not a lot of these things get broadcasted on these big news networks. And don't get me wrong, social media is a clusterfuck, especially on certain platforms. But I would just say you start with the right people. You start with following the right people, the people who present accurate information, the people who have sources for what they're saying, who are on the ground, specifically in your area. One thing I love about TikTok, I don't know if you have TikTok, you probably don't, but we actually have there's a local tab on TikTok where you can click on it and it'll specifically show you local news based off of what you like in your algorithm. So stuff like that really helps show you what's happening around you, elections that you can participate in, food drives, so on and so forth. But I do appreciate this conversation. I have someone else on the line. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for your vulnerability and sharing your position. I appreciate your conversation. I'm sure Amanda does as well. And you enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. Happy July the 4th.
Oh, you too. Happy July the 4th. Thank you for taking my call. God bless you both.
Thank you. Take it easy. Did I get it right? Caller, you're on the line. Do you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I did actually.
Got you. Do you regret your vote?
100%.
Why is that?
Well, I could name a lot of reasons. I mean, first off is the Epstein files, and I'm aware that that was generally public information before, but whenever it first started getting popular, that was the first time I heard about it, and I'm fairly certain that that was on purpose. I think that there was a lot of corrupt media stuff going on in order to hide that. I also don't think that he's following through on any of his goals. I wasn't really a fan of much of his goals beforehand. But there were a few of his goals that I was like pretty in favor of, and he hasn't even really followed through on those. And I think that he's one of, I think just in terms of policy and the economic impact alone, he's one of the worst presidents we've had in recent history.
So what is something specific? What would you say is your biggest thing that you voted for him to do that you think he's failing on?
So number one above, I've got two big ones, but the first one comes above all else. He kind of ran on the whole drain the swamp slogan, referring to government corruption. And number one, he didn't do that in the first place. And number two, he outed himself as being part of the government corruption. Take a look at the Epstein files, take a look at, foreign affairs and whatnot. I mean, it's horrible. So he didn't follow through on that at all. And a smaller issue, not as important to me as that would have been, was his stance on transgender ideology.
Interesting. You don't appreciate his stance on transgender people?
What was that?
You don't like his stance on transgender people?
I was in favor of his stance on transgender people. I think that not necessarily transgender people in particular. He said some really hateful things and had some really hurtful policies that target people over the ideology, which I think is an extremely hateful thing for any person to do.
Not an ideology.
But his policies that he had proposed concerning the ideological side, in terms of transgender media and coverage and whatnot, I feel like he didn't really deliver on that.
I don't know what policy would have specifically had on that, but overall, his policy was erasing their existence. And no, I don't mean yeeting them. I just mean removing them from the media, any forms of books, stopping them from participating in the public. which is hateful. I don't want to sit here
Yeah.
and get into a specific argument about why you don't believe
Right,
this
right,
and all
right,
that.
right.
I really don't care. I think
I get what you're saying.
people's positions on trans folks is irrelevant to me because it's no different from some folks' positions on black folks. But I do think that the federal government should not be weaponized in any way, shape, or form to go against another group of people who are paying taxes, who are minding their business, who are following the law, whether we agree with them or not.
I see. Now I know that you don't want to like really get into it. If it's okay with you, because it is like your show, am I good to maybe like bring up a contradiction to that point?
You can try.
I see. So your main reason for not going after a specific group of people is because they're functioning members of society and pay taxes.
Yeah, I don't. Some of the big ones, yeah. I don't think the rest of the little culture stuff is relevant. They're just slightly different from us.
I see. Well, I mean, certainly they're slightly different from us, but using that same method of thinking, you could make the exact same claim for, I mean, besides people that don't pay their taxes, but criminals. I mean, they pay their taxes. They are members of society, albeit they commit crimes. But that is targeting a specific group of people because they're doing something that is wrong. And again, this is under the assumption that I'm making a claim against transgender people. I'm making a claim against transgender ideology. Same way that if I made a claim against like, oh, I think eating junk food is wrong, I wouldn't say that we need to like.
One, transgender people aren't just an ideology. They exist. For two, targeting criminals for breaking the law would be different from targeting transgender people for inherently being trans. Those are two different
not
things.
necessarily targeting transgender people, but targeting their specific actions. And not necessarily punishing them based on their actions, but...
What actions would be criminal?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say any actions would be criminal. I just think that the ideology is I think, a little bit hurtful to society. And overall, I think Donald Trump's original stance on that, and he has not delivered on it.
His original stance was not caring. There's a 2016 interview where he was literally asked point blank if Caitlyn Jenner, what bathroom would she be able to use in Trump Tower? And he said, I could care less. Like, they're just trying to use a bathroom like everyone else. They don't bother and blah, blah, blah. His stance changed, specifically, I won't even say near the end of his term, after he got out the Oval Office and it started to become a hot button issue. In fact, Donald Trump quite literally started to grift when he realized how important it was to Republican men.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. And whenever I say his original stance, I'm referring specifically to his stance right before the second election. I do understand that his stance has changed over time. I'm talking about his original stance.
His original stance was hateful. It hasn't changed since then. It's over $215 million that Republicans spent on anti-trans ads, money that could have been put towards actually campaigning or, I don't know, investing it into infrastructure in rural areas. He spent it on ads, shitting on them, spreading lies about...
horrible financial budget decision. I think that there's better ways to go about it.
He spread lies about drag shows and drag queens being there, stripping in front of kids and all that fucking nonsense. He went as far as to say that we're paying for their health care, like transgender specific health care, paying for their chopped dicks, all this crazy stuff that's not happening and it is not true. He was spreading around. And then the big thing was the children, where he said that kids were just waking up being taught in public school with federal funds that they can be trans and then were allowed to go against their parents' wishes and do all this other shit. None of that's happening. And then when it comes to any actual surgeries, most of the transitions at a younger age is social. You can't get anything physically done to you until you're 16 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that... there's a couple points on there, and I actually do appreciate all of those arguments. Whenever you say that you can't, like, say, oh, the government funding doesn't go towards transgender surgeries or whatnot, and that is actually, I don't remember who did that, but I think that was a recent decision federally that said, like, Medicare, Medicaid, et cetera, couldn't go towards, transgender surgeries and whatnot. And in terms of kids being taught it, I don't really focus on that. I'm more on the side of, like, I think that the glorification of the ideology is, like, overall damaging to society. Not like any specific events.
How
there are some people that
is it being
go ahead.
glorified? We're saying trans people exist, leave them alone. I don't know how
Yeah,
that's
trans people
glorification.
exist. I think that like pride parades in the first place. I have nothing against homosexuality. I have literally nothing against that at all. But the inclusion of transgender people, I think the ultimate culmination of transgenderism is, of course, the transgender surgery itself, which is
okay. Hold please.
I mean,
so we need
go
to
ahead.
talk about federal funds being used for gender affirming care. The majority
Yeah.
of gender affirming care is not for trans people. It's for cis people. That could be jaw restructuring, titty enhancement, hair restoration, so on and so forth. Things to affirm a man or woman's gender. Men who have bigger men who have big titties. It's literally to reduce that. That is gender affirming care. A sliver, an insignificant sliver of any of that would cover trans people. So if cis men and cis women can utilize Medicare, tax-funded healthcare for necessary gender affirming, well, not necessary, but gender affirming care, the same should go for trans people. And it's only when it's deemed medically necessary to specifically treat gender dysphoria, which is a real
gender
thing.
dysphoria, I think, is certainly a true thing that exists. I mean, there are people that are unfortunately born with that condition.
Yeah, and there's only one way to treat it.
Say what?
There's only one way to treat it, and it's not shock therapy or praying the gay away.
Oh, well, certainly not. Certainly not. I mean, but I mean, now I think that there are other ways to go about it. And I think the culmination of that is like gender affirming care for like people with gender dysphoria. And now, like the one thing I want to say, and I don't have an
that would
exact
be
number.
covered with tax dollars. I want to be super duper clear on that.
What was that?
That's the only thing that would be funded by tax dollars if it was deemed medically necessary. You would have to have gender dysphoria.
Yeah, I have a problem with that.
Why?
Well, I was trying to explain that.
I don't know how I'm confused now because we went over the fact that this is something that they would need. It would be a doctor who would diagnose them as such, and that's when the care would be necessary. There's only one way to treat gender dysphoria. So why would we stop them
cutting
from
off genitals? And
no, that is a whatchamacallit. Not every single transgender person loses their parts. That's
I'm
that's
familiar
another
with that, but
misconception
the
as
ones
well.
that go through the like quote unquote like the surgery, I think that is.
Do I have a trans person in the comments?
I don't think I know. And I'm not saying
If
they
I
all
do,
do that.
please
but I'm
feel
saying
free to
there are a large
request that because I don't
majority
feel
of them
right
that
having
do.
this conversation without a
And there have
trans
also
person here.
been cases where people come back from their transgender surgery and regret it. And I'm aware that most of that is from transphobia in society, which is unfortunate. I mean, transgender people are people too. But there are people that have come back simply because they've regretted the decision. And if you look at Alfred Kinsley, who is a very, very big actor in homosexuality, in the science department and transsexuality, it's clearly stated along a lot of sources that gender is fluid. And I think that if something is fluid, subject to change, and based on individual perception, it's a really big risk to get a fundamentally permanent thing done to your body. I understand there are cases where that. Go ahead.
Detransitioning is a drop in the pool of people who actually go through the transition. It's less than what? 10%?
It's probably less than like 0.5%, I'd imagine. So maybe higher, maybe lower.
Less than one. The reason why the reason why it is medically necessary in some cases and the reason why people go through it is because in order to transition to begin with, there are a bunch of steps that you have to go through, a bunch of decisions you have to make with your family, with your doctors before they even give the go ahead to allow you to transition. It's no one just waking up. I mean, unless you maybe you have a shit ton of money and they don't give a fuck in that case. Capitalism ruins everything. But for the majority of cases,
people with money are stupid.
For the majority of cases, it is someone who goes through the necessary steps and therapy and everything else to make that decision for themselves and go, okay, I need this to happen. I need this. This is to affirm my gender. This is for me to feel comfortable with myself, especially when the risk is suicide and everything else. So
right. So and I do know that there is a significant suicide rate among transgender people, and I am aware that the suicide rate is primarily dependent on like transphobia within society, which is of course horrible. I don't think that transphobia towards people is relevant in our society at all, especially in this modern age. But I mean, and the only reason I brought up the detransition rate beforehand was not necessarily, that wasn't supposed to be a case closed thing. That was just more evidence to the point that gender is fluid. And the fact that these are people that attempted detransition solely based on their own. What was that?
Could you pause for one moment there? Because you touched on 2 points that actually go together. Because you said that you understand that a lot of the self-deletion rate of trans people is because of not being accepted in society. That's also a lot to do with detransitioning, because they don't have support, because they are basically forced back into the closet by family and the people around them, making them feel like if they do this, they're wrong and they're bad and they're a blight on society. So like you've said both the points, you just didn't put them together. Like, detransitioning isn't necessarily because gender is fluid. That is a very small percentage that actually go, oh wait, I got this far and this isn't quite right for me. Very small, fraction of a percent.
Yeah, and the
What
smallness
you're talking
doesn't
about is
matter. It's just
social
evidence.
pressure.
It's just evidence to the point that those instances do exist, and that's of course evidence to Alfred Kinsley's sexology experiments. But the biggest point, and that's not proof to that's not to support my claim. That's to support Alfred Kinsley's claim. And
Hold for
Alfred
one
Kinsley's claim
hold for one moment.
supports the. Go ahead.
Dubs in the chat to the real Mac Gay for the $5 super chat. This is why people need to ignore propaganda and research themselves for the truth of who someone is. This is why good loses. Evil equals louder. That's correct. I think that was for the last guess. Yeah, that's 6,000% correct. The average person who didn't vote for Kamala Harris doesn't know her policies. I stand on that shit. I proved it every fucking day. Dubs in the chat to Melvin for the $10 super chat. I'm listening before my game. It's called misogyny, Hector. He can't see a woman running the United States, although she's vastly more qualified than Donald J. Trump, who has historically turned everything he touched into lead. That was also for the last guest. W's in the chat to you, Melvin. 6,000% correct. W's in the chat to Devin for the $2 Venmo. Trans people aren't an ideology, they're people. Yes, I've issued a few corrections on that part as well. W's in chat to you. Guys, best way to support the platform, of course, is always going to be hitting up the links in the bio. Please make sure you take care of my panel as well. But if you'd like to donate to me directly and support what we do here, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. It's Hector Talks with 2 R's on Cash App and Venmo. PayPal, Hector Pal with 2 O's and 2 R's. Those of you over on the tube side, you may send a super chat, super sticker, or consider becoming a member. We will be ending the live in about 33 minutes and going to the Discord for movie night. So if you're not in the Discord, check out the link in the description of the live stream or the bio here on TikTok and open up your invite link and join us there. And then everything else. I haven't done a full PSA in a hot minute. I'm going to wait until after I allow him to finish his piece. I'm sorry. Finish your thought on the guy you were talking about.
It's okay. I know you're wrapping up here soon. I don't want to hold you for too long. I mean, there is. I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought. I apologize.
The only thing I wanted to say is what you said in regards to gender being fluid, and with gender being fluid, that would support the existence of transgender people, which is why I find it to be contradictory.
Oh yeah, no, transgender people do exist, and that's exactly why I've been so vocal the entire argument. I have nothing against. I have friends that are transgender. I just think that like the ideology itself, there are people where it may be medically necessary, but there's I think a glorification. And I think that a lot of people who may identify as transgender based on their own personal perception nowadays don't actually fit the qualifications of being having medical hold on 1 second, having medical gender dysphoria. And the reason that I can say that is because the reason I believe this is true is because hold on 1 second. The reason I believe this is true is because of trans. Go ahead.
Okay, so nobody is glorifying an ideology that gets you unalived by people because of panic defenses for being who you are. No one is glorifying walking down the street with your partner and not looking like you fit correctly into society according to everyone else's idea of normalcy. And again, being more subject to abuse, physical abuse, or being unalived than the majority of the rest of the population. No one is glorifying these things. I don't understand how you're saying
I never said they were glorifying those. That's not transgender ideology.
What? No, that's the people that are unaliving trans people simply for being trans, and you're saying that the ideology is glorified. How is it glorified when, if that is your existence, if that is your reality, you are more likely to be deleted for it.
I really want to make this point clear. We're done calling it an ideology from this point on, especially if you're going to sit here and confirm gender is
can I
fluid
make one more
and
point to
gender
that? I wanted
dysphoria
to
is real.
confirm the point
So you
of
need
it
to
being
stop
an
saying
ideology, but I got
ideology.
interrupted.
You started to talk about, I guess, people who just are claiming to be trans. Okay.
Well, I think that no, I don't think that they're just claiming. I think they believe they're transgender, but I think that the perception wouldn't really align with them being medically trans, like having gender dysphoria. And if it does, I think that would be proof that transgender media and culture would almost like be the reason for gender dysphoria. I don't think that that's the case, but if you look throughout times, gender dysphoria, if every trans person ever has gender dysphoria, then
hold on.
Why is it that the amount of transgender people, if you looked on it like on a scale throughout history, it would almost certainly correlate with the amount of transgender like media in circulation?
No,
I think that
hold on. My phone is unaliving, and Emmy's here, and I'm done because I can't let my blood pressure go up right now. But I love you guys. Bye.
Thank you, Kate, for coming up.
We'll take care of him.
I want to give Emmy a chance to say her piece. Go
ahead.
But
yeah,
I think
Emmy's much better.
I think
she's
probably going to touch on something I was about to say. I'm curious. But go ahead, Emmy. The floor is yours.
Hi, Hector. Hi, Dean. Hi, Amanda. And hi, caller. My name is Emmy. I am a trans woman here, and there's a couple of things you're saying here, okay, that kind of got to me. One of these things here is this idea of transgender media. We don't have media, okay? We do not own media companies. We do not own networks. We do not own production studios. I mean, we have small ones, right? A couple of us here and there might have our own little independent projects and things.
Yeah, independent ones. Yeah.
Right, but when you talk about this transgender media being on the rise and being the cause of gender dysphoria,
I didn't say that necessarily.
First of all, no, you did. Or being a contributor to it, right?
Yeah.
That you see this correlation in gender and trans.
then...
You said that there's a correlation between gender dysphoria, or like the number of trans people throughout history, and transgender media. So first of all, big misnomer there. No such thing as transgender media. There are transgender people in media. There are transgender people in representation as characters in media, but there is no such thing as trans media. We don't own any sort of systems for that. So that doesn't even exist. Second of all, saying that having transgender people represented in media, especially as it has gotten better back in the 80s and the 70s, it was really bad. You watch any of the sitcoms from back then, we were always just the butt of the joke, okay? We go from that representation to simply being represented as human beings instead of the butt of the joke. And now we are simply more accepted in society, right? So that's why you see that number correlating.
I'm so sorry, Abby. Really quickly, this is
a
a YouTube caller.
The number of left-handed people went up.
This is a YouTube caller, y'all. Stop tagging people on the panel. This is a YouTube caller. Okay?
I got you.
No, this is not to you. I'm sorry. This is to the people tagging folks in the comments. Okay?
To,
They're different people. They're different people.
I got you.
Okay? Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead, Emmy. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry. It's just look, like the fact is we saw this with left-handed people, right? The numbers of left-handed people rose for a while and then they plateaued off. It just so happens that happened to be in the same time that we started allowing kids to like write with their left hand, right? And so now that it became socially acceptable, we saw more kids say, "Hey, I'm left-handed." As trans people, just like we saw with homosexuals, right? As trans people get more accepted in society, then more people feel safe to come out. It's not gender dysphoria is not caused by representation in media, and it is certainly not causing us to rise in numbers in any significant way.
Feminism, the women's empowerment movement, is why we literally see more women in fields that they're not traditionally supposed to be a part of. More women running for office, more women running for the president of the United States. That's how that works.
Because we don't become trans because we see people that are trans on TV. We are trans or we're not trans. I've always been a trans woman. Like there's no I mean, I was a trans girl when I was a child, and I'm a trans woman now. But
I see.
I've never been anything other than me. I didn't become trans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I would assume so. I mean,
this
I don't know for
idea
sure,
that
but
it's
yeah, I
being
would assume so.
glorified, this idea that there's this ideology being glorified is ridiculous. I believe it was Kit mentioned that, you know, look, not only are we like last month was in May, we had more than 5 trans people unalived brutally in this country just for being trans. We've been called terrorists by this president, and saying that we need to be hunted down and unalived, right? So, what do you mean that it's being glorified? Can you please tell me what you see as
before we
being
get into that, I
glorified?
want to respond to the very first point you made, referring to no transgender media. I have no problem with people who truly have gender dysphoria and got the care that they need appearing in media, but to outright deny that transgender, quote unquote, transgender media exists, I think is like a fairly far stretch.
Can you show me any movie, television show, production studio, or production conglomerate that is owned and ran by trans people?
So that would be, like you said, like a conglomerate or a corporate entity. Media specifically refers to pieces of media. I'm not saying that there are overall transgender owned. I'm not saying that there aren't overall
Gotcha. So
transgender.
you remember you remember the cartoon show Franklin? That means that there's cartoon turtle media, right? That's what we were saying. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know,
that's exactly
it's
what
this
I'm saying.
turtle media. No, it's not the turtle media. No, it's not trans media, right? It is simply trans people existing in the public eye and being represented in media. That is not the same thing as trans media.
Yeah, a transgender individual who
I would have to
creates
disagree from
content.
like a definitional standpoint, even though it doesn't benefit my argument. That would certainly be the definition of transgender media.
So you're saying that we're being glorified just because we're being represented because there are trans people in TV
No,
shows and
I
movies from time
disagree
to
with
time?
that fundamentally. No, of course not. I think
Well,
that
what are you saying?
glorification. I think that so one question I want to ask really quick. I just want to make sure that I have your stance on this 100% because I'd hate to say something wrong or misrepresent what you're saying. Do you think that every person that self-identifies as transgender, including people that maybe haven't come out yet, everyone with the I am transgender, and I would feel more comfortable if I was the opposite gender, or I feel more comfortable being the opposite gender. Do you think that every single person that has these feelings actually has gender dysphoria? Every single person.
No, because like someone who transitions and then detransitions, they may have experienced gender dysphoria. But here's the thing: remember, cisgender people experience gender dysphoria too. It's not just a transgender.
Gender is fluid. Gender is fluid, certainly.
We're not talking about being fluid. We're not talking about being fluid. It's not talking about changing back and forth. For gender fluid people, gender is fluid. Gender is not fluid for me. I am a binary trans woman. That is very different than gender being fluid. Someone who is gender fluid may present as a man one day and a woman the next, or non-binary the next, right? Or like androgynous, I should say. That is being gender fluid. I'm not gender fluid. Gender is not fluid as a concept in whole.
Okay.
I don't know why you keep going back to this thing of gender.
I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. I guess the question I would have there then, I guess one of the only questions I would have left then, is how would you know for sure? And of course, it's I know, and it's a matter of personal perception, 100%.
I think what you're trying to get at here is that gender is something we all experience, and we all experience and understand about ourselves at different times, at different rates, through different means and measures. And so while somebody, like I know somebody, many of us here know Lainey. Lainey is a trans person who transitioned, was identified as a binary trans woman, and identifies now currently as a non-binary trans feminine person. Okay, that is different because that is a matter of self-discovery, right? And there can be this matter of self-discovery. But when someone says I'm trans, the thing that helps them the most with their mental health, with their support systems in every single way in their life, is simply taking them at their word, believing them, getting them the help that they need by getting into doctors and therapy and everything. And if throughout that journey, they realize that they were wrong, then that is okay. There is nothing wrong with detransitioning. We need to stop treating it like it's this big thing, that it's this huge idea. It's such a small number of people, and it's totally okay if someone realizes later on that they were wrong about themselves. That is not the same thing as being fluid. That is a process of self-discovery. Like I pick up a guitar one day because I feel like,
and I'm not saying that gender fluid is.
I want to play drums instead. I'm a drummer, but I've been playing guitar for 20 years. You know why? Because it's this process of discovery. I played guitar for over 20 years. I discovered I'm not a guitar player. It's difficult for me every time I sit down to play guitar. I have to put so much more work into it than when I have to sit down and play drums. Drumming just feels more natural to me. But for 20 years, I thought I was a guitar player, right? That is in that same way, it doesn't mean I'm a fluid musician, because if I decided to never go back and play guitar again, that wouldn't mean I'm a fluid musician. That means I went on a journey of self-discovery.
Of course. Now, may I ask a question about your analogy? I don't want to leave you guys here too long, because I do know you're trying to wrap up.
I just want to get in here and say that, caller, do you think that everybody that's transgender has to have gender dysphoria?
No, of course not.
Okay. Do you think that everybody, and let me also ask you, what do you think the trans in transgender means?
Transitional? I'm fairly certain.
No. Wrong. Trans is literally a Latin prefix that means across from. So a transgender person, their gender identity is incongruent, does not match up. Their personal, their neurotypical sex, their neurotypical gender does not align with the phenotypic or the outside presentation.
I see.
It just means across from. And and not everybody that's transgender goes on HRT, and not every transgender person it has surgery. It just depends on what personally for them is proper for them. So I think you've got these kind of locked in ideas about what transgender people are, or what being transgender means,
not at all.
And they're not really all correct.
And one thing I just wanted to bring up, and I'm very I have nothing, like I said, I have nothing against homosexuality. It is specifically transgenderism, and not even against transgenderism as a whole.
Hold on. Let me stop you right there.
No transgenderism.
Let me stop you right there. There is no transgenderism. It's not an ism.
Certainly,
please
there must
stop
be.
That.
If you now, let me go back to a point that I don't remember who, but someone made previously. That not every single person who identifies as transgender or anything under the blanket term of transgender, any of the individual ones. I asked the question, do you believe every single transgender person actually has gender dysphoria? I don't remember who it is. Please forgive me.
No.
They responded, no,
you just agreed with
it's
Dean.
not going to be 100%. One moment.
You just agreed with Dean.
One moment.
Really
one
quick.
moment.
You just agreed with Dean that not every trans person has gender dysphoria. So why are you going back to this?
Because that's what you guys had said priorly or previously.
$50 to the links in the bio. Send everyone on the panel a galaxy. I feel like this guy's playing in our fucking face. That's why I'm not saying anything, because I don't want to crash out. He's playing in our fucking face.
Actual technical term
He can't hear us, but
if it's possible that they can perceive themselves as another gender or wish to belong to the traditional values associated with the gender that they choose to assign with.
So
and they don't actually have gender dysphoria, then that's certainly evidence of transgenderism as an ideology.
That is not. No. That is not. No.
Well, then how would it not be?
You can just drop that notion right now. Just put it away. And
would you like to give me a reason why?
Because you do not. I'm a licensed therapist. I have worked with transgender people as clients. I have transgender people as friends. Emmy here is a really good friend, at least.
Of course.
I hope that I'm a really good friend with Emmy. But it's not there's no necessary you have to be suffering from gender dysphoria to be transgender. It's our gender identity develops between the age of 3 and 7. We know who we are. We may not have the language when we're 3 years old to say, "Hey, mommy or daddy, I'm transgender," but you may hear things like kids saying, "Don't if you're assigned male at birth, you may hear kids say, 'Why do you keep calling me a boy? I'm a girl.'"
Right.
They have that identity from the time they're very young. So it's not like they get to 15 or 16 or something and choose one day to be like, "Oh, I think I'm transgender now." That's not how it works.
There's actually, so can I break down the whole not really take a long time here, but like break down for you why this is not an ideology, okay? Because when you look at the medical field that studies this, right? They don't see this as an ideology. They just see being transgender or gender nonconforming gender diverse as a human variation. A simple, you look at science, we look at it, we go, it's a human variation. It's that simple.
Yes.
Now, that variation is simply there can be a difference between biological sex and gender, and we see that as a natural human variation. Now, gender ideology is a term, transgender ideology is a term that was brought about by the conservative right. Okay, it was brought about in what it's an umbrella term for all of the things that science believes about gender. So the fact that science looks at humans and goes, there is a natural human variation, evidence throughout history, that just because you're born one sex does not mean that is the gender that you're going to experience or anything like that. That's a simple human variation. That's how we understand it in science. The right calls that transgender ideology. They simply take the way that science works, right? The way that we understand the world and the way that the world works, and anything they don't agree with, they call it an ideology, because they think by using that word, they can somehow make it something that is not real.
Can I deviate a little bit? And I will agree with you 100% on every single thing.
How come every time, before you deviate, how come every single time you bring something up and one of us addresses it, we get to the end of it and you go, "Can I just deviate to one thing? I agree with everything you said," even though everything you said beforehand that we're responding to.
I would argue that this sentiment is purely for the sake of. Go ahead. You guys haven't really let me finish, but go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Because what has happened so far is every single time, I bet chat has been tracking this too. Every time you say something and one of us responds, you end up saying that even though we're disagreeing with you, that you agree with us and you want to move on to something else. It seems to me like your entire purpose up here is to not acknowledge not where you're wrong or where we are correct, but simply to move on to the next talking point so you can get through as many of them as you can.
I'm sorry.
Because I know this
farming at this point.
I do
this entire
every
thing.
week, my
I've been
friends.
recording this whole thing on my computer this entire time.
I know you've been
Everyone here,
recording
in no
it because
disrespect,
you
I
are
understand
using
it's natural. You're
tactics
doing
to
it right
be
now.
bad faith.
It's completely natural to want to interrupt. And I have done my very best. I've said, "Go ahead, guys." Even when
see, now you're going to play the victim because I called you out on
No. You're doing it right now. You're doing it right now.
So you're going to act like the victim here.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry. Did he say he's been recording this entire thing?
Let me finish.
Yes,
you're doing it right now.
Did you really call in to get a fucking clip? Is that why you called in?
No, that's not why I called in. I wanted to have an actual discussion. But you guys,
he doesn't think that we don't
right
study
now.
These tactics.
You guys have been changing the subject, and so if we haven't been
changing the subject, we've been talking about trans people this entire fucking time. What do you mean we've been changing the topic?
We've been ignoring things so much. I want you to explain to me why you never answered one of my questions.
What question was that?
Transgender ideology. And I'm not talking about the kind that the right does, because the right is...
Okay, there is no transgender ideology. Right, left, doesn't matter. There is no transgender ideology.
I would like to give you an example that I had already given you.
It is a made-up term by the right.
Because the subject was changed. So am I allowed to do that?
Get your question out.
Okay, I'm going to restate the question I said before. If the ideology, or sorry, let me just change the word. If transgender representation, okay, I'm just going to say transgender ideology. I don't use the typical, if transgender
Just
ideology does not
Get
exist.
the fucking question out. Get it out.
Transgender,
Get it out.
no, don't hang up because you're a
Get the
pussy and you
question
ignore
out.
the question.
I'm trying
to answer the question.
I'm the pussy. I literally just said, get to your fucking question, crybaby. Get the fucking question out. Get the fucking question out. You keep doing all this rigmarole. Just get the question out.
If transgender ideology does not exist, why do people regret their transitions? And if
Jesus fucking
the
Christ.
medical
That was already
people,
answered half an hour ago.
It was.
Okay,
because we
answer it
already
again
told
because
you,
I don't
already
recall you
told
answering.
I will repeat it for you because this exactly proves my point that you have not been listening. You have only been
listening.
pivoting every single time that we speak. So I will answer
because
again
you guys keep changing
that
the subject.
transgender ideology, which does not exist, is not the reason why some people detransition. It is a journey of self-discovery where they simply have this sense that that's something that they need to try to experience to see if it fits for them, and it doesn't. Whether or not they have seen someone that is trans or not doesn't matter. I knew when I was 5 years old, I was raised in a conservative Christian home. My grandfather was a pastor. My father was a pastor. I would later become
because you
a
had
pastor.
gender dysphoria.
I was
I'm
not
disagreeing
allowed.
with that.
I was not allowed to see trans people in media. I was told that they were disgusting and deserved to go to hell. That's what I was told about myself. And I never got to see that stuff, and yet I knew at 5 years old. So this idea, right, now that someone would see a trans person, go, maybe that's the answer. Well, guess what? People do that with things all the fucking time. People look at Donald Trump and go, he's going to fix my problems. I'm going to be MAGA. I'm going to wear the red hat and say all the nasty things, and he's going to fix my problems. They look at the church and they go, maybe that will fix all my problems. They look at putting money into their car and think, maybe if I have the coolest fucking car, that'll fix all my problems. And maybe, yes, maybe that person looks at a woman and goes, maybe if I looked like her, maybe that would fix my problems. And then they try it and it doesn't. And they realize that later. That has nothing to do with whether or not trans people are visible in media, because if someone, a male is going to see a woman and say, maybe that's going to fix my problems, because sometimes that's what humans fucking do. And we know that it is so rare that it's less than 1% less than 3% of 1% of the population that experiences that I don't understand why we need to be talking about it this fucking much and trying to put this disgusting idea on it. That is because trans people are fucking visible in society. The other people end up like the what? 3% of people, of 1% of the population regrets what they've done. Guess what? 3% of the population fucking regrets having knee surgery. More than 3% of the population that wins the lottery fucking regrets that too. Sometimes we just can't be fucking happy, and that just happens. And I'm sorry to any person who has gone through detransitioning and gone through that experience. I want you to know that your experience is valid, and it's not the fault of any trans people in the media, no matter what this fuck says.
Really quickly. W's in the chat to Sean for the $5 super chat. If I got $1 for every MAGA that didn't know word definitions, I would be Basil. Socialism, communism, and fascism, and not that difficult. W's in the chat to you. W's in the chat to Transicade Zombie for the $4.99 super chat. Caller saying you have a trans friend and saying that you don't agree with trans people says you're not their friend. That fucking part. It's been a walking, talking contradiction. W's in the chat to Lamar for the $10. You already know. I sure do. W's in the chat to you. Y'all see the sticker up. All right. You may have the full floor to respond.
You better tag me in that clip, YouTube caller. I want to see it. That was a good ass crash out.
Okay. Anyways, responding to your comment that said, I want to do this real quick. Whoever said that, oh, MAGA can't do that. I think I stated before that I'm not MAGA. I mean, I cannot stand Donald Trump. I would.
Nobody accused you of being MAGA. Nobody accused you of that.
No, he said MAGA people when it was very clearly.
Yeah, I read a super chat that wasn't even directed towards you, my guy. It very clearly wasn't. You weren't talking about socialism, communism, or anything with definitions, were you?
I'm sorry, I did not hear. I thought someone.
Yeah, you clearly have had a comprehension problem this entire fucking conversation. While we had to go over the detransition topic, the thing you said we never answered, that was literally answered by myself and even Kit, and then Emmy. We went over that
Okay.
already.
Well, now
You're actually
that I
tracking the
can comprehend
conversation.
the answer,
You
and I
would listen
apologize
closely and
if
not
I missed
respond
it
to shit that
before.
would.
I apologize if I missed it before. I'll continue from that point there. Okay.
Devin, what do you got?
These people. What?
Okay. Hi there. I'm probably not going to be as nice as the rest of them because it's fairly fucking obvious that you're here just to cause harm. We have
I'm not.
We have corrected you on several items that you have been incorrect on, and you refuse to correct yourself on them, especially about the trans ideology. We are not an ideology. We are people.
Yes,
Understand
you are.
that. Then treat us like that. And trans ideology is something the right uses to dehumanize us. They want to eliminate trans ideology. There is no trans ideology. It's just fucking trans people. And I have listened to you tokenize trans people. Oh, I've got a trans friend. Do you realize you do that?
Okay, I have a trans friend. I don't agree with every single thing that my friends do, right? I don't think that any of you guys agree with every single things your friends do. If I had a friend that did something that was like a legal
It's
thing,
not what
then
your
I would
friend
disagree
fucking
with them.
does, it's who they are. You are saying you don't agree with who
That's
your
what we
friend
keep trying
is.
to tell
That's
you.
not a friend.
That's what we keep trying to tell you. It's just who we are. That's the way we are.
We've had this conversation multiple times, and can I expand on the ideology topic a little bit, because I think I didn't really get a chance to clarify
with the
myself.
fucking ideology. Do you understand that?
I understand that the scientific aspect of it is not an ideology.
We all know that you are just trying to legitimize the term here, even though we all know it's a made-up term by the right in order to delegitimize
I don't
us.
subscribe to
You're
any
not
of the
going to
right's
be able to
traditional
argue
beliefs.
here that there's any
Besides-
validity to the term.
You literally
it's not
have
going to fly.
Disrespectful to trans people.
You
We've already
understand
debunked
that.
it.
We keep telling you this. We've debunked it
Okay,
several
can I
times.
expand
and you
on it a little bit?
insist on using it.
Why do you need to
Hold
expand
on,
on
everybody,
something
just
that
a
doesn't
second.
exist? I'm sorry.
Well,
This is what I need to understand.
and I'll tell you exactly why. Because I fundamentally
Hold
believe
on,
it
everybody,
exists.
hold on just a minute, caller.
And I understand
Caller,
you
hold
guys.
on.
And I understand you
Caller,
guys saying it
hold
doesn't
on.
exist. But
hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're up here. You're accusing us of interrupting you when we've let you talk for minutes at a time, and yet every time one of us says something, especially Emmy or Devin or one of the presenting people on the panel, you have to interrupt immediately and try to. Oh, but that's not. But that is you're exhibiting like very, very poor emotional control here. So could you just let people speak and then respond instead of, and that way you can actually hear what we're talking about, so we don't have to repeat things 7 times because, I didn't hear you say that. You didn't say that. Yes,
I don't know how much I care about
You're
that,
not
Devin.
listening.
Not Devin. Dean, because I'm
Do you
about to
think
choose
that
violence.
I've been doing that.
So
I believe I wasn't, but I will believe you guys. There is more of you guys than me.
Emmy,
I apologize for interrupting beforehand. I felt from my own perception that I was being interrupted, and I would like to apologize.
Okay,
I
Emmy
apologize
and
before it's
Devin,
over.
with y'all's permission, and only if you say yes, I just want to know what the fuck he thinks a trans ideology is. If you're literally not disagreeing with the science, you're literally not disagreeing with their existence, what do you think trans ideology is? Do not answer that question yet. I'm asking for their permission. It's up to y'all, because this conversation is fucking gross as it is.
At this point, I think that letting him try to continue to legitimize a term that is only a term made up by the right in order to delegitimize the science, which he has tried to do several times, and every time we've debunked it, he's gone, okay, now I agree with everything you said. I just want to ask a different question, right? He's done that every time. So he's agreed with us on this several times. So I think he's agreed with it. I don't think that spreading this thought any further is actually doing anything but harm.
He's been corrected on it several times, and he just wants to do more harm on purpose. By now, he should fucking know better, and he doesn't. He's doing this on purpose. So,
Well, so I guess I'm getting kicked off now.
I don't understand what your argument is.
Well, because you guys haven't given me a chance to explain.
You've
what
had
I believe
52 goddamn
I know.
minutes
I
to
understand. I
explain
understand the perception
everything that you've been
that
trying
it's
to
widely
say.
agreed upon that transgender
You've made
ideology
several
does not exist, and I
contradictions throughout this entire conversation. You've been checked on just about every single fucking one. Sorry, Emmy, were you saying something?
Can I say something real quick?
Oh, Devin, hold on 1 second.
being
Hold on
trans
1 second. Guys, we hit the financial goal. I still want to gift this fantastic panel. Can we get them something, please, before I play this song? Because it's about to be 7:00.
If you think
You know,
being
Go ahead,
trans
Devin.
He needs to walk down to the dispensary
hold
after
on,
this.
dude.
So.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Go ahead, Devin.
If you think being trans is being like glorified or anything, you know, you should look in the comments here, look in the comments on YouTube, and see how much transphobic bullshit that is being posted on there. We see it all the fucking time, especially in these political lives.
Can I make a statement to the
Tell me we're being
audience?
glorified. Tell me we're being glorified.
I would need to explain
not.
my view on transgender ideology first.
Tell you what, go ahead. Explain your
There
view.
is no such thing.
Okay.
Explain it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't have the definition at hand, and I will not use what the far right calls it. What the far right.
God bless you.
I am sorry for yelling, everybody.
Don't you apologize for a goddamn thing.
And by the way, I'm non-binary, so just to let you all know.
W's in the chat to Lamar. Oh, I already read that one. W's in the chat to Just a Bill for the 5. WUW panel. W panel. W panel. W's in the chat to Christina for the final $35. Please drop this disrespectful person. I was getting more and more irritated in that fucking conversation because he just kept contradicting himself. Well, I believe that they're real people, but this. Well, I understand gender dysphoria, but this. Well, I get you don't have to have this to identify, but this. And like, what the fuck are we doing? And then what really made me go, I'm done with this conversation, is when he's talking about, yeah, I'm recording this on the other end. And then I said my piece, oh, you pussy! I was like, okay, you're here to get a clip. You're here to debate. You're not here to have a genuine conversation. You're just fucking faking. This is all fake. This is all bullshit.
So could I just break down two tactics he was using really quick, just so chat understands really fully what they are, because he was doing a couple very specific things on purpose that are.
Let me just read these last two. I'm sorry, I missed these.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, you're fine. Really quickly, Debbie's in chat to Above Infinity for the $2 super chat. Guest censors himself more than a goddamn company. That's funny. Debbie's in chat to you. Debbie's in the chat to Phoenix for the $2 super chat. This guest makes snowflakes look like tanks. Damn. Go ahead, Emmy.
Yeah, so there's two big ones that stand out to me every time they happen, and these are used by these bad faith quote debaters, right? One is sea lining. Sea lining is where they try to stay as calm as possible. They try to stay kind. They will always try to come back on your good side, like he did at the end, right? He constantly apologized. He seems really agreeable, just like a sea lion would. Seems really agreeable, right? But they're not really there to do anything. They just kind of want to sit there and say these things. The other thing that he was doing, I can't say on TikTok. I'll spell it so you guys can understand it. It's JAQing off. Okay, JAQing off. JAQ stands for just asking questions. They just keep doing that over and over and over again in a masturbatory exercise, which is why we call it JAQing off. Every time that something comes up, they just want to ask another question, just another question. They never actually rebut anything. They never bring evidence. They just want to ask questions that are really there as a veil for their awful talking points. And the last thing I'll say before I go into that, Hector, thank you for giving me this extra second here, is that in the 1990s, gender ideology was a term coined by the conservative right movement in order to discredit feminism, and the pro-life movement primarily. Okay, transgender ideology, simple evolution of that to meet today. As we started to see LGBTQ people gain rights, gender ideology started to go to the wayside. As we got abortion, feminism, right? All these things started to come around. This term started to go away. Now that trans people are in the forefront, it just simply evolved into transgender ideology. It has still always been a term made up by the right in order to delegitimize movements that protect women and protect queer people. Okay, that's all I got to say.
More.
Can I counter one more thing that he said?
Yeah.
Trans people have been around, have been involved with gay and lesbian causes as well since Stonewall. The first person who threw a brick at Stonewall riots was a trans black woman named Marsha P. Johnson. This isn't a new thing. We have been there all along, and we're going to stick together. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, guys. Damn it, Emmy. Can you guys follow Emmy?
I didn't get a chance to think about Emmy.
Can you guys follow Emmy, please? Where the fuck did she go so fast?
She does. Just, okay, I did my thing. Disappear.
She pulled a me. I don't like it.
I was going to say, she's not quite a Hector, but...
Hold on. I'll get her username. The Emmy from within. The Emmy from... Ah, there you go. Follow Emmy. Fuck. Just ran up out of there. Holy shit. Follow Emmy, please.
He's dropping comments so people can follow, so...
I said I was only going to say one more thing, and I also then I had to check a DM. That's why I left the live so quickly, because I had to just jump back really quick.
Gotta wait for your goddamn accolades. Shit. Emmy, please.
I don't want to.
That was the old Hector. It's like, hi, I'm here, bye. What? I'm out.
That's really the shit that I do. But yes, guys, follow Emmy. Emmy also goes lives as well, speaking on these topics. Is very versed politically as well, just in general. So follow Emmy, please and thank you. Their links are also available in the bio for anyone who wants to support in that fashion. Took y'all too long to do them galaxies, but I appreciate the people who did. Deborah's in the chat to you guys.
As Hector likes to say, if you're not following Emmy, what are you doing with your life?
Exactly.
I do appreciate anything sent to the links, because I'm going to have to walk down to the dispensary after that one.
Understandable. So if you guys want to compensate Emmy for the Justified Blaze Fund, hit up the links in the bio for the Justified Blaze Fund. In fact, I think I'll yeah.
That is one thing I'm jealous of you for, Emmy, is you live somewhere where you can do that.
I forgot to do it for you, huh?
No,
I live in this Midwestern red hell that...
No, Dean, it's so nice too, because I have a really cool little one that I won't just say where I live, obviously. There's way too many people watching, but there's this really cute little one too, right? Like 5-minute walk from my apartment. So
nice.
Really, really nice. Yeah. And I'm almost out. So. All right. Anyways.
Well, we all need to do a little gardening every now and then.
Yes, thank you for coming back. Like you guys said, follow Emmy. Her links are in the bio. Please do all the good things. So we are going to the Discord. Friendly reminder: tonight's movie night, and we will be watching The Menu. The Menu is starring Nicholas Hoult. He was Lex Luthor in Superman. Anna Taylor-Joy. I think she was in the new Furiosa Mad Max movie. And
The Queen's Gambit. Oh my goodness!
And the Queen's Gambit. I haven't seen the Queen's Gambit, but I know she's in
so
it.
Good.
And then Ralph Fiennes, he was in The King's Man. That's the movie I know him from, but he was also popular in like a 2024 movie where he played the Pope. I don't remember that one.
It's fine.
If you haven't seen Menu, make sure you join the Discord right now, because
it's a good one.
It's really good. I'll join you guys because I haven't seen it in a while, but it's good.
Okay,
yeah.
W. So we are watching The Menu in the Discord. So really quickly, because everyone has issues with getting in there sometimes. Those of you on YouTube and TikTok, go to the link in my bio. You're going to see the Discord icon. I assume we all know what the Discord icon looks like. So go click on that. I will warn you, in the Discord browser or the TikTok browser, it's glitchy. So if it doesn't open up in the TikTok browser, copy the link, the little 3 dots at the top, press the copy the link, and then paste it to your regular browser, Safari, Chrome. And then it's going to take you straight into the Discord. You'll follow the prompts and you'll be in. Those of you on the YouTube side, the link is in the description of my live stream. That should automatically take you to it. But if you have any issues with that as well, it's the same thing. Copy and paste it into your own browser. If you're on my Discord, actually, you can go to the community tab and see the link there. But if not, link in the description, please. And that's how you guys get in. So if you want to be a part of that movie, just go ahead and get all that done now. Really quick, wrapping up PSA, other things in my link tree. Please make sure you're following me on all the social medias. Hector Talks with 2 R's on YouTube that we're doing streaming right now, and Instagram where I post the videos I put up here. I tried to get a video out for y'all today. I didn't have the time. It's going to be ready by tomorrow. Join the Discord community, of course. It is free, by the way. It is free. You may choose to subscribe there if you'd like, but it is free. We're over 750 members strong. Get yourself some merch off the merch shop, which I haven't talked about, hectorshops.com with 2 R's to see all the merch except for this one you display here. This is Erica's shirt. This is Erica's Do All the Good Things shirt. You can get that at ericaeffect.com. In fact, she's live, so that's who we're going to raid. We're going to go raid Erica. Or you guys are going to go raid Erica. I'm going to the Discord. And then links. Yeah, all that shit. All that shit's there. So do all the good things. Go raid Erica. YouTube, give me a second to set this up. It's going to take you there automatically. TikToks, just go now. Go raid Erica. If you're not coming to the movie night, go raid Erica. And let me set this up on the YouTube side. I can't stand disingenuous fucking maggots. I'm not maggot. Yes, every fucking talking point was maggot. Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, okay, I just said it. The second this live ends, it's going to take you over there, YouTube. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. And thank you for the digital gifts as well. I didn't get to read a few of those. All right, YouTube. I appreciate